Prologue. I took a seat opposite the table from a brat. This is the basement of a casino, and surrounding me on the nearby tables were the various tools and apparatuses used for various types of games. Behind the brat stood a pair of well-built, fully equipped bodyguards. If anyone did anything untoward in this place, they'd probably be on them in an instant. Even I of all people managed to feel nervous in this setting, and I unconsciously placed a hand on my sword to calm my nerves. Taylor, dressed in nothing but his underwear, was sitting stoically over at the corner of the wall. Keith was similarly dressed, but his demeanor was anything but motionless. And Lynn, dressed in clothes that might as well be underwear, tried to hide herself behind lowly succubus as much as possible, but at the same time, she never took her gaze off me. Right now, I had no choice but to engage in a decisive match with the brat in front of me. All I have to do is win, but, if I lose... I gave a simple explanation of the rules, and the brat appeared to be satisfied by it. Very well. All I have to do is draw a single card, yes. With the very picture of smugness playing on his face, the precocious brat drew a card from the deck. It would appear that he was quite confident in his skills at gambling. It doesn't even seem like he's even considering the possibility that he might lose. I started extending my hand towards the deck of cards too, but hesitated for a moment. Lowly succubus, standing next to me, had her eyes closed and her hand clasped as if she was offering a prayer. I actually met her in person, so maybe it might actually work. Nah, forget it. I was briefly tempted to follow her example, but that's just not my style. Turning my attention back towards the table, I closely examined the 12 cards arrayed in front of me. To be honest, I had my doubts, but the only thing I could do right now was to believe in the power of my luck. I'll go with this card. After my declaration, the prince nodded once. I'll reveal my card first. You are fine with that, I presume. Go right ahead. I'll let you make the first move. I instantly answered, but at the same time, sweat started accumulating on my palms. I gulped in order to soothe the feeling of dryness around my throat. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I could do nothing but repeat that to myself as I stared down at my opponent's card. And the card that he so slowly flipped over is, Chapter 1. Spring Comes for That Blockhead 2 Part 1. I sighted Keith lewdly eyeing the passing women at the Adventurers Guild, along with Lynn who was nibbling on a vegetable stick like she always does, and hurried over to them. My wallet was extremely light today, so I was thinking of getting them to treat me to a meal. Sup. You're looking really cool today, Keith. As expected of a popular man, they really give off a different aura. Can you lend me some money? If you're trying to flatter me, you could at least say something more believable. Keith rested his chin in his hands, and he gave me an exasperated look. Well, that didn't work. The words I used must have been too far out of sync with reality for him to see through it this easily. Oh well. There was still someone else I could turn to. This time I'd go with some more grounded flattery. Oh Lynn, you seem to be in good spirits today. Your skin looks to be quite shiny too. Ah, I see, you must have let out a big one, haven't you? I feel like you've been complaining about being constipated. Lightning. Yuwa. That was close. I only managed to dodge that bolt of lightning by the skin of my teeth. That flash flew out through an open window behind me and sailed off into the sky. You little. Don't start shooting magic at me out of the blue. Blame yourself for saying such disgusting things to a girl currently having a meal. Could you please refrain from casting magic within the guild? The person who uneasily interjected as we were glaring at each other was the most popular receptionist in the guild, Luna. Her huge breasts were wobbling in the most appealing way today as well. Yes, say it. She might actually listen if someone with breasts as huge as yours reprimands her. Let her and her flat chest know their place. You son of a... I definitely won't miss this time. Sorry, I made sure to target my spells so they wouldn't cause damage to the guild, but... So it wasn't a coincidence that the bolt of lightning flew out through the window? Well, in that case, I guess it's fine. Don't be convinced so easily. How could that be fine? If it had hit me, one of the reliable adventurers of the guild might have been taken out of commission. That would have been a great loss for the guild. Well, I suppose you're pretty strong as far as your skill at arms are concerned, but if that means that you won't cause any problems for a while, I think it would have ended up a net benefit. How could she say such a terrible thing with a smile on her face? Leaving that aside for a moment, if that had hit me, the surrounding chairs and tables would have been burnt to a crisp too. You would have been stuck with the bill, Lynn. I had faith that you would have dodged it. Don't stare at me while clasping your hands in prayer. You had faith in nothing of that sort. Anyway, if you are going to fight, please do it outside. With those words, Luna went back to her work. Isn't it your job as a guild staff member to stop fights like this? Right, anyway, would you rather prefer to lend me money or treat me to a meal? You still think you'll get a treat in this situation? You really are. What's with that prideful attitude? If you treat me, the leader of the party, to a meal, your standing within the party will go up, won't it? Depending on how you act, I wouldn't mind elevating one of you to the position of second in command. In response to my confident declaration, the two of them sighed at the same time. What's with this reaction? Did you figure out a way to get drunk without drinking alcohol? Our leader is Taylor, remember? We all decided on that. Did you forget already? If Dust was our leader, we would have been disbanded a long time ago. Are you serious? Isn't the true, reliable leader of this party me? I was completely taken aback by those statements. I know Taylor was in charge of taking on quests and accepting the rewards, but those were boring chores that nobody wanted to burden themselves with, right? I thought they just let him act as the leader because it was more convenient that way. How could that possibly be the case? Putting you in the position of the leader would be the same thing as committing suicide. The only place where you could be any sort of leader is the prison. You guys sure don't hold back, do you? So, where's that reliable leader of ours? He's not off slacking somewhere during this important meeting, is he? I shouted while repeatedly smashing my fist against the table. Just what part of this meaningless conversation can be considered an important meeting? Normally, Taylor would be in the guild bright and early in the morning to check up on the quests available, but today, of all days, he was nowhere to be found. I swept my gaze across every nook and cranny of the guild, but I couldn't even catch a glimpse of him. Say, Taylor seems to be quite busy as of late, doesn't he? I hardly ever see him in the guild these days. Now that you mention it, I've seen the two of you around here often enough, but not Taylor. I didn't notice it before Keith brought it up, but when was the last time I saw Taylor? It must have been at least a few days back. Yeah, it was a few days ago. I think I saw him together with another person, but I was pretty deep in my cups back then, so I don't quite remember much from that encounter. Unlike the two of you, Taylor is a busy person. Lynn said while shooting us a cheeky grin. Just what's with that meaningful smirk of hers? What do you mean by that? Lynn, do you know what Taylor has been busying himself with? The two of you really haven't noticed, huh? Hey, just what are you saying? Don't keep it to yourself, tell us too. Yeah, there shouldn't be any secrets amongst us companions. A shiver went down my spine upon hearing Keith's words. My body subconsciously reacted. There might come a day when I would need to reveal my secret to them. Well, this and that are different things. I'm going to drag what Taylor's secret is out into the open. He's been getting along fairly well with another adventurer lately. A girl, at that. The moment I heard that, I silently met gazes with Keith. His brows were furrowed, and he had a very unpleasant-seeming frown on his face. My expression was probably pretty similar. I should go clean my ears. I could have sworn I heard something out of this world. Dust too, huh? My ears must have been really clogged by earwax. After a brief intermission, we once again turned back to Lynn. Please say that again. It seems like he's getting along well with a cute Kohai adventurer. What? X2 we couldn't help but raise our voices upon. Hearing something so unbelievable. That stiff and inflexible Taylor has a girl. Stop joking. We're talking about that blockhead Taylor, you know? He who probably doesn't even know what hitting on girls entails. If you're telling me that Keith has a girlfriend, it might actually be believable. You know, I don't think Taylor is quite that stiff. No, wait. This is totally strange. If spring has come for Taylor too, then where does that leave me? Even Dust here has some women hanging around him, so why the hell am I the only one left out? Keith and I were wailing while clutching our heads, but Lynn was simply coldly staring at us. Aren't you a little too calm? One of our companions might be betraying us, you know? Why are you so calm, Lynn? You're part of our singles alliance too, you know? I don't recall ever joining such an alliance. In the first place, there's nothing odd about this. It'd be something else if one of you two is going out with a girl, but not if it's Taylor we're talking about. How could that be the case? If you put me next to that stern and unfriendly Taylor, most women would naturally gravitate towards me. I guess I could give Keith, who's worked himself into a little bit of a frenzy over this matter, some support. Yeah. No matter how you think about it, the two of us should be more popular than Taylor. Right, you guys. Of course, I've noticed the gazes that the adventurers around me have been shooting my way, so I turned around and addressed them. Heck no. No matter how you look at it, Taylor is obviously the better man. No, there's no way. I'd rather join the Axis cult than consider dating either of you. Yeah, a goblin would be a better choice. These guys are just shooting their mouths off. The others bystanders who were silent before were egged on by those words and started adding their own complaints to the mix. And behind us, the guild staff solemnly nodded in response. I'll definitely tell that party priest that you want to join the Axis cult, so you better remember that. Hey Keith, don't just fall silent, you say something too. Is our reputation really that bad? Keith has curled up on the floor and seemed seriously depressed. I'm not exactly unaffected by this, but it seems like Keith has taken far more damage. I suppose I've built up some resistance to such comments after all the time I've spent trading barbs with Yun and lowly succubus. That doesn't make me happy at all. Still, these guys really are going overboard. Right, I'll use covering for Keith as an opportunity to wring some money out of them. Look, you've made Keith Kuhn cry. Do you guys not have a shred of compassion in your hearts? You fiends. If you feel bad about this, lend me some money or treat me to a meal. I tried to appeal to their conscience, but all of them simply let out a snort in response. Fiend is more fitting for someone who not only borrows money without paying it back, but attempts to borrow even more money on top of that. And on top of that, when anyone pesters you to return the money, you snap. Hurry up and return me my money. You even gave my name to the police to throw me off at one point, didn't you? Damn it, if anything, things have gotten worse. This isn't a good spot for me. If I don't change the subject, all of my evil deeds are going to get dragged out one after another. Hey anyway, does anyone know that girl who's been spending time with Taylor? I loudly shouted over the voices of the other adventurers, and they slowly fell silent. Eventually, murmurings to the tune of, wasn't that the girl we saw? And, oh yeah, I think I saw her, started spreading around the crowd. I don't know the details, but it's true that Taylor has been spending quite a bit of time with a newbie adventurer recently. Apparently, he's showing her the ropes of being an adventurer. He is that sort of person, after all. One of the veteran adventurers said as he stroked his beard. Perhaps encouraged by it, the other adventurers started sharing their stories about having seen Taylor together with a female adventurer too. So it was true after all. Damn it, how cold could he be? He should have told us, his friends, right away. Right, Keith. I turned my attention to Keith, just in time to see him collapse on his side, hugging his knees to his chest. Who cares about that anymore? Oh boy, seems like he's taken far more damage than I thought. It doesn't seem like he'd be useful for a while. Well, that's the story, so just leave it be. You idiot. Our precious leader might have gotten a woman, you know? As his friends, we need to give him our blessings. Mwahaha. What's with that wicked expression of yours? You're not thinking of doing anything strange, are you? Taylor isn't used to interacting with women, so it falls to me to make sure that he's made the right choice. I'd have to gather information about her to determine if she is indeed a worthy fit for our leader. She's a newbie adventurer, so asking the guild staff about her would probably be the fastest way to go about this, but it's unlikely that they will reveal any personal information to me. That means I'll have to ask someone else who's familiar with the rumors and stories that circulate around in the guild. And I already have someone in mind. There isn't a single person who spends more time hanging around the guild than that person. Part 2, Yo, Yun. Since you're someone who's perfected the art of being a loner, there's something I'd like to ask you. I noticed Yun, who wasn't already in the guild for once, slide in through the doors, and wasted no time in calling out to her. That nickname is kinda cool and Crimson Demon-like, but I won't be fooled that easily. Even if you prostrate yourself again, I'm not lending you any more. I'm not here for money today, though if you are willing to give me some, I'd gratefully accept it. But never mind that. More importantly, have you heard anything interesting about Taylor recently? Ah, are you referring to that adventurer that seems to be getting along well with Taylor-san? Yun's eyes practically lit up the moment the topic of romance was brought up. Despite her having no luck in such matters, she is still extremely interested in the romantic relationships of others. Yes, that's right. He doesn't really interact with women very often, so I'm a little worried that he's being led on. If you know anything about that, please share it with me, or so Lin said. Lin-san said that? Such concern would be fairly suspicious coming from me, but it's a different story if it was Lin. The two of them have interacted with each other more often recently, and have gotten closer as a result. If I were to frame it as a request from Lin, Yun, with her loner syndrome, should be much more willing to spill the beans. Yeah, Lin is a companion of Taylor and thinks of him as a friend. She's a little bit worried if Taylor is being deceived, so if you tell her anything you know, she'll probably be grateful to you. Just ask me anything. I'll do my best, Yun confidently stated while puffing out her chest. It's really great for me that her buttons are so easily pushed. Well, according to the rumors, the girl is a newbie adventurer, but is that actually true? I first saw her in the guild starting about 2 weeks ago. After that, she'd frequently show up and observe the guild while occasionally taking glances at the quest board. Observe? Yes. I kept my eye on her because I thought I might be able to become friends with a newbie, so there's no mistaking it. She seemed quite nervous and seems to always be staring at some adventurer or the other. It's a pretty common story to have a newbie adventurer cheerfully head to the guild, only to get cold feet and become unable to make any further moves. To think that such a newbie had to suffer under Yun's piercing gaze. It gives me the chills, but I think I'll pass on commenting. And then, about a week ago, she came back to the guild together with Taylor. I was sitting nearby, so I overheard what they said. I'm not eavesdropping on purpose. I wouldn't do something that rude. Never mind that, the important bit is what they were talking about. They weren't fooling around with each other or talking about indecent stuff, were they? They aren't you, Dust-san. Apparently, Taylor-san came to the newbie adventurer's rescue when she was fighting a monster on her own, and after that, he offered to help show her the ropes of being an adventurer. He really is a kind person, isn't he? I see. Well, he is a bit of a busybody, after all. He probably couldn't help himself. In other words, their relationship was one of a teacher and a student. It seems I was too hasty in jumping to conclusions. So a teacher-student relationship, huh? Well, as long as he introduces her to me later, I can let that slide. Why do you sound so high and mighty? And, from the look in the newbie adventurer's eyes, she has completely fallen for Taylor-san. Those were the eyes of a maiden in love. Are you sure it's not just her idolizing a veteran adventurer? I don't think it's just admiration, but a girl who's in love with Taylor. Unforgivable. She probably doesn't know that an amazing adventurer like me is present in this guild, and happened to think of Taylor as a good man after he just so happened to help her out. That has to be it. What's wrong? Why are you biting your lip like that? By the way, what does that newbie look like? She's a beautiful girl with long black hair. And she's slender, but her bodyline is really amazing. I'll kill him. Where did that come from? I couldn't help but put voice to my thoughts. That bastard, how dare he enjoy such a situation all by himself? A beauty with an amazing bodyline? All the women around me have nothing to speak of between their waists and their necks, and the only one that has any potential is this loner brat. Where are you staring? The brat in question hastily covered her chest in a huff. In this case, I'll have to make contact with the girl directly and spread a few rumors here and there to drag him down. Right, I'm going to look into this. Yun, you come with me too. You're probably just planning to sit all day in the guild by yourself anyways, so you should have plenty of free time. I am not free, but I'll follow you because I'm interested in this too. I briefly considered inviting Lin with us too, but she'd probably just get in the way if she was there, so never mind that. As for Keith, he's still frozen at a corner of the guild, so let's just leave him be for now. Part 3. It didn't take long to find out where Taylor and that newbie adventurer were headed to today. Luna told Yun where they were the moment she asked, even though she wouldn't breathe a word of it to me. It seems like they accepted a monster subjugation quest a short distance away from town and happily headed out together. Love blooming during an adventure. Isn't it beautiful? What are you saying? There's no way that can happen. Fighting monsters means putting your life at risk. It's not a task you can take on with such a casual attitude. Lowering your guard for a single moment could be all it takes to lose your life. And what do you really think? I want to show a beautiful girl the ropes of being an adventurer too. In such a situation, she wouldn't get angry even if my hands happened to make contact with her hands or her chests, right? I answered without thinking, and Yun shot a cold gaze back at me. Damn it, I stepped right into that. You really are completely hopeless. Ah, there they are. Damn it, she really is a beauty after all. I dragged Yun behind the shadow of a large tree, where we observed the two of them. Taylor stood in front of the newbie, placing himself between a monster and her, and seemed to be shouting something towards her. Just as the rumor suggested, the newbie was a woman with long, flowing black hair and was bountiful in both the chest and ass department. She was a newbie adventurer, so I thought that she'd be on the younger side, but she seems to be close to Taylor in age. They are only facing off against a single goblin, so there's no need for us to intervene. We'll just continue observing them. Moving from tree to tree, we slowly crept closer. Looks like we can hear them from here. What if it's a confession of love? What should we do? Don't get lost in your delusions and slap me on the back. What are you going to do if they hear us? Plus, from where I'm standing, he can't be doing anything apart from giving her advice on how to take down monsters. If you have high defenses like a crusader, you'll be able to stand on the front lines and absorb attacks, but you're a warrior type like Dust, so you'll need to use your speed to dodge your enemy's attacks. Do keep that in mind. Yes, Master Taylor. Come on, is that really worth calling him Master over? Taylor nodded in a dignified manner, but it doesn't seem like he's reveling in it. Ha! It seems like they are just focusing on the fight. A hardhead like Taylor would never have a tryst out in the woods like this. I'm glad to see my trust in him isn't misplaced. Didn't you say something about killing him earlier? Did you just imagine what you wanted to hear because your time as a loner has gotten to you? This man. I ignored Yun and focused my attentions on those two, but he merely taught her about how to defeat the monster and the kind of mindset an adventurer should have. Nothing interesting, in short. It seems like Yun agrees with me, for her intense gaze soon faded into one of boredom when it became clear that it wasn't what she expected. Good work. Shall we take a break? Yes. Taylor took out a sheet from the bag that the newbie was carrying and spread underneath a tree, and the both of them sat side by side on it. They seem to be sharing a cup of tea together, and from where I'm standing, they seem to only be good friends and nothing else. I think you'll be able to get along fine without my guidance now. It's best that you find a party around your level soon. Yeah. I'll just be a bother if I keep sticking with you. That's not what I mean. Taylor seemed flustered when faced with the lonely look that the newbie had in her eyes. There is a bittersweet atmosphere that could be felt even all the way over here. It kinda pisses me off. I knew it, there is something there. Just look at the sad look in her eyes. Why are you taking your shirt off? I thought I'd rush out there naked and break this stupid bittersweet mood in an instant. Please don't do that. Just support your friend's budding love from the side. I refuse. Nothing pisses me off more than the happiness of others, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. Why, you are the worst. I won't let you get between those two. If you want to, you'll have to go through me. Yun brought herself up in front of me and entered into a stance where she could cast magic at any time. She has always been easily swayed by the plight of others. I've made good use of that personality of hers in the past, but it's certainly problematic in such a situation. Too bad, you've already walked right into my trap. I won't fall for such a transparent trick. I'll be serious today. How naive. Do you seriously think they won't hear you if you shout loudly like this? It's too late to cover your mouth. If you rave and shout like this, people will notice even if they don't want to. Yun was blocking my view, so I adjusted my footing slightly to peer past her and check up on what Taylor and the newbie were doing. Only, there wasn't a single person there. They left while I was dealing with you. Damn it, where did they go? Wait. I won't let you get in their way. I thoroughly looked around the place while trying to dodge Yun who was desperately chasing after me, but I couldn't catch even a glimpse of them. This means that they must have returned to Axel. Damn it, in this case, I'll just have to go with my original plan and directly fill her ears with bad rumors of Taylor. I could see Yun chasing after me from a distance, but I pretended not to see her and headed back to town. Part 4 I went straight to the Adventurers Guild the moment I made it back to town, but neither Taylor nor that newbie was there. Keith was still curled up into a ball at the corner of the guild, and Lynn was sitting at a table next to him. From the looks of things, it doesn't seem like Taylor had made his way back to the guild yet. Right, now what do I do? If the two of them were headed out for a meal, they should have passed by the main street. Perhaps I should ask the old man if he has seen them. Please don't leave me behind like that. Yun said amidst ragged breaths as she grabbed me by the shoulder. So she followed me after all. Right, we're heading over to the general store. Follow me. Trying to shake her off would be a pain, so I guess she can tag along for now. So that's the story. Have you seen Taylor around? I haven't seen him pass by today. Oju-chan, you're still hanging around this guy? This man is a thoroughbred scum, so it'd really be best for you to cut your ties with him as soon as possible. I can't refute that. Don't seriously think on it. Still, it seems like this was a dead end. Unless, hey, you weren't slacking off in the back instead of actually working, were you? Even if that was the case, this is my shop. There's no place for you to be lecturing me about it. Though, you said the girl was a beauty with long black hair, right? Yeah, her chest and ass were both amazing. Did you recall something? The old man gazed off into the distance. A girl I've never seen before dropped by a few days ago to sell off some jewelry and equipment the other day. It's probably just a coincidence, but she does resemble your description of her. Please tell me more details. I think it was about 4 days ago. She came in bearing a huge load of rings in all kinds of different sizes as well as armor made for a man and a bunch of weapons. It's fairly common for people to sell me such things, but it's the first time I saw someone come in with such a mismatched set of items. Plus, she was a beautiful girl who I've never seen before, so it left quite an impression on me. She came here to sell stuff? It's not unusual for adventurers to pick up second-hand weapons and gear at this shop. It's particularly attractive for newbies to purchase a set of gear here when they lack the funds for anything better. However, she came here to sell. This is starting to smell fishy. Did anything stick out as suspicious to you? Well, I didn't want to get caught selling stolen goods, so I asked for some identification, and she produced her adventurer's card. There wasn't anything suspicious about it, so I took them. What's up with that? Did she become an adventurer just so she could get something that could assure her identity? Don't you think this is a little odd? So even Yun picked up on it, huh? Hey, why are you furrowing your brows like that? Did you think of some new scam or something? Why would you think that? Bah, I don't have the free time to spend hanging around such a stifling old man. See ya. Hey. Sigh, what a carefree fellow. Sorry. Thank you for having us. Hey, I said not to leave me behind. Yun was shouting something at B from behind, but I ignored her as I proceeded down the main road. This is definitely worth looking a little deeper into. I'm not really worried over Taylor's safety, but if that woman turned out to be some kind of criminal, I would probably be able to get some kind of reward if I turned her over to the police. I don't know where she got the jewelry and gear from, but there's only a few things one can spend a windfall like that on. Gambling, wine, or women. No, she's a girl, so she probably wouldn't be spending it on women. In this case, perhaps I should look into the shopping district. Well, I'll hit up the local gambling parlor first. Part 5. When I tried to enter the gambling parlor that I hadn't visited for quite some time, the bouncer standing at the front doors stopped me. Hey, didn't you notice this sign? He jabbed his overly large thumb towards a sign pasted above the door, which read, "We refuse to service broke, troublemaking customers." That means you, Dust. What did you do this time? I didn't do anything. What is the meaning of this? Just how much money do you think I dumped in here? I should be a VIP. True, you're really bad at gambling, so you're very profitable for the establishment. However, you constantly harass the other customers the moment you go broke. And stop hitting on the dealers. If the ones who won were to share their winnings with me, the money will flow fairly throughout the entire establishment. That's what economy is. And it's only polite to hit on beautiful women. Yeah, and that one time you actually won, you quickly left with all your winnings. And the dealer has been asking us to do something about that creepy delinquent for quite some time now. How could you operate a business like this? I'm never coming back again. And that dealer is the same one who once whispered, if it's someone like you, you'll definitely hit the jackpot, sweetly in my ear and cause me to lose a large sum. Anyway, we are busy preparing to deal with the card shark right now, so I really don't have time to entertain you. Card shark. There's a woman who appeared in town recently who's been making a killing at the gambling dens throughout the town. There are quite a few people who've lost large sums of money and even valuable items going up against her. Tell me more about this woman. Why are you so? Oh, fine. I'll tell you, so give me a shout if you learn anything. She's a woman who's blessed in both high luck and skill in cards. She's never lost a match, so we think she's cheating somehow, but we just can't grasp her methods. However, her movements definitely aren't those of an amateur. And she doesn't seem like she's in the same business as us either. After that short exchange, I left to gather information from the other gambling parlors in the town, where similar scenes played out, and where I was told similar tales. I also asked any fellow adventurers I saw on the way. Source at C Translations, me, I heard a friend of a friend lost everything on him going up against her. She is not only skilled with her hands, but she doesn't hesitate to make use of her feminine charms either. Just thinking about it makes my blood boil. That friend of a friend is just referring to you, isn't it? What are you saying? There's no way that can be. Ahahaha. That woman, She approached me out of the blue, but in the middle of our conversation, she went off after some other guy. When I went after her, she said that, I'll go out with anyone who wins against me. If you win, you may do whatever you want with me as your prize. There's no man who wouldn't challenge her after hearing something like this. You understand, right? Any man would definitely take her on after hearing that. Well, when she starts crying and saying that her sister is suffering due to her illness, anyone would be moved to give her a bit of money, right? I mean, sure, I had some hopes that this would allow us to grow closer, but, after gathering information from the various idiots who got tricked by her, I've managed to piece together a pretty good picture of who the rumored card shark is. It's definitely that newbie adventurer who was calling Taylor master not too long ago. It seems like she's gotten close to many other adventurers other than Taylor and fleeced them off their gold and valuables. Not only that, but she uses a different method for each person. Some people were completely taken in by her seductions, and others were taken in by some sob story that she spun. True, they are idiots for getting tricked in the first place, but she's certainly a deft hand at it. And that's how she's getting all those equipment and valuables to sell. It seems like that newbie is quite the villainess indeed. It's not true, right? I mean, she seems so honest. You can't judge a person by how she looks. Take the girls at the bar, for instance. They'll keep you company as long as you pay up, but they'll instantly vanish the moment you run out of money. Still, I didn't see this coming. Now, what should I do? I did want to get in their way before, but I didn't expect the woman to be the problem. I could just expose the plot to Taylor. That'd wrap things up quickly, but what should we do? Wouldn't it be best to tell Taylor-san about this? He might end up losing all of his money like everyone else at this rate. Why would we tell him? It's his own fault for falling for such a scheme. If he does end up handing over his money, that'd be his problem. What? But he's your friend. But, well, it'd be pretty fun to knock someone riding high to the ground, don't you think? This is definitely not for Taylor's sake, but the idea of turning the tables on that woman who's riding high after fooling so many people out of their gold does seem like it'd be pretty fun. There's nothing wrong with tricking a villain, after all. Part 6. Hey, beautiful lady over there. Yes, you with the long black hair and the truly bodacious body. What, are you referring to me? The woman who replied so languidly was, of course, that newbie adventurer. She gave off a completely different feeling from when she was hanging around Taylor. Yes, you. You seem to be extremely blessed by good fortune as of late. That really piqued my interest, so I called out to you. There's a reason why I'm speaking like an old man. Right now, I'm wearing a fake white beard along with a pair of thick, round glasses. With that, I've set up a fortune-telling store along the road that woman takes to the clothing store that she frequently visits. Fortune, huh? Well, I suppose you aren't exactly wrong. You've got a pretty good eye, don't you? I've got some money, so give me a reading. Thank you very much. Now, come, take a seat. I directed her to the cloth-covered table in front of me, and she took a seat. Even though she had an aura of a sunny and honest newbie when she was hanging around with Taylor, right now, she had an extremely seductive aura that attracted the gaze of half a dozen men from the street. Women really are scary beings indeed. Now then, please look into this crystal ball. I'll be able to see your past and future. Oh, I see it now. You're an adventurer, I see. Anyone would say that when I'm dressed like this. True, the only people who'd walk around town wearing leather armor and a sword would be adventurers. Thus far, her reaction is fairly tepid, but the true abilities of fortune-telling is yet to come. This morning, you remembered that you forgot to remove your makeup before sleeping last night, so you got into the bath in a hurry. You start washing from your feet up, and you pay special attention to your chest. Wait, seriously, sir? Tell me more about that. How do you know that? Heh. I'm a pretty skilled fortune-teller, after all. I can see everything, even the color of the panties you're wearing right now. Oh come on, don't be that petty, sir. You can see it just fine, can't you? Hey, why are you whispering like that? Is there someone else there? The woman cast a suspicious gaze down at me. I'll get busted if I don't play this off more naturally. I should keep that in mind going forward. What are you talking about? There's no one hiding under the table. Anyway, let's continue. At this rate, a huge misfortune shall befall you. Misfortune? You're joking, right? I've been having the time of my life with all the suckers in this town. I've been making a killing every day. The twisted smile playing on her face really puts her beauty to waste. As I suspected, the face she puts on in front of Taylor was an act after all. Fortune flows around like a wheel. If you receive the blessings of great fortune, it'll definitely come back around. Particularly so if that fortune came as a result of fooling other and taking their possessions for yourself. You speak like you saw it in person. Her smile vanished instantly, to be replaced by a cold expression. Sigh. I get it now. You're a friend of one of the guys that lost everything to me in a gamble, right? Too bad, I'm not the kind of person to fall for that kind of tricks. You're 100 years too early to be fooling me. Try again in your next life. Saying that, she turned to leave, and I called out to her. When the earth starts rumbling, a large disaster shall befall you. That's a portent that only you shall be able to feel. Do try to keep that in mind. Yeah, come up with a more believable line next time. The woman casually said that as she vanished into a side alley. Yeah, most people wouldn't believe something like this right off the bat. Still, it should weigh on the back of her mind a little. I took off my fortune-teller's disguise and straightened up. It seems like she's still trying to forge a relationship with Taylor right now, so he shouldn't come to any harm for the moment, but at this rate, it's only a matter of time before he joins the ranks of the people who have been taken advantage of by her. Thanks for the help, sir. I lifted the white cloth and conveyed my thanks to Sir Vanir, who was sitting cross-legged underneath it. The fortune-telling earlier was all thanks to Sir's power to see the past and the future. He merely conveyed what he saw to me. Sir emerged from underneath the table, straightened up, and let out a laugh. Foo ha ha ha. There's no need for thanks. Delinquent who's only good at getting up to no good. Such pranks are perfectly suited for my tastes, not to mention that it's a good chance to taste more dark emotions. You have not forgotten about that matter. Moi trusts. Of course not. Right, now, here comes the main event. Misfortune? How stupid. Still, perhaps I've been a little too flashy to attract the attentions of someone like that. Maybe it's about time I bid farewell to this town. Judging from the way she's speaking, it doesn't seem like she has any intention of changing her ways. Still, despite what she's saying, when something sounded from behind her, she hurriedly turned around and scanned the walls and her surroundings. In the first place, what does "when the ground rumbles" mean? It's not like there are any volcanoes nearby. Almost as if in response to her words, a loud boom sounded in the distance, followed by a sudden tremor. What's going on? An earthquake. The woman sat on the ground and covered her head, but the people around her went about their business like nothing's happening. You're kidding. Why is no one reacting? It's like they don't even hear that explosion or feel the tremor. Could it be that I'm the only one who felt that? Her face started growing pale. Seems like she's remembering the fortune I left with her. I made a signal, and at that instant, a large amount of fluid splashed onto her head. It's cold. What is this? It's slimy and feels disgusting. It's soaking into my clothes. Yun pushed these onto me, saying that she got a whole bunch of Tokorotan slime from the Axis cult and had nothing to use it on, but to think that it would come in handy like this. The woman hastily looked up, but there were only clear skies above her. Upon seeing not a single cloud in the sky, the woman hugged her body and trembled. What's going on? Don't tell me that fortune wasn't a fake. With a blood-drained face, the woman picked up her pace and hurried down the street. Everything is going just as planned. Did everything go well? Keith poked his head out from a nearby building, holding in his hands a bucket that was full of Tokorotan slime until just a short while ago. Yeah, your timing was perfect. Well, the signal was the explosion that has become this town's attraction by now. It's pretty hard to miss that. That boom and accompanying tremor is, of course, the daily routine of that crazy explosion girl. The residents of this town have gotten used to it by now, so no one would have raised a fuss over it. Though, apparently, Kazuma and his party were out of town the past few days, so it's been quite quiet recently. In any case, that woman has only been in town for a short time, so she wouldn't be familiar with Axel's local attraction. It'd be best if everything else went just as smoothly. Well, I'll just have to keep that in mind going forward. I hurried off after the woman and spotted her a few meters around the corner. She appeared to be walking casually, but her neck was almost swiveling around as she kept careful watch over her surroundings. Still, it doesn't seem like she has taken notice of my presence. Right then, the next point is, I've looked up the places that she is likely to visit. Seems like she's headed for a high-end restaurant. Great, this is within my calculations. I entered through the back door and met the gaze of the chefs and waiters who were there, who returned with a grin. The truth is, the people who are pretending to be chefs and waiters are the adventurers who were fleeced by her. The manager of the shop was a former adventurer, and when we offered him a half-year's free pass to use the succubus shop, he happily let us use the store. Alright, you bastards, your chance for revenge has come. Everything is prepared, right? Leave it to me. Let her eat our handmade meal to her heart's content. The chef enthusiastically declared, before passing the dish over to Keith, who was dressed as a waiter. Keith offered his full support to this prank we're pulling. He said something about being willing to do anything to help Taylor, but most likely, he's just bored. I was a little curious as to how things would play out, so I peeked into the restaurant from the kitchen. Thank you for waiting. Here's the chef's whimsical choice for today. Hee, I wonder what I'll eat today. What is this? The item that the woman was pointing to with a frown was a simple slab of meat covered in a translucent, brown substance. It's covered in the chef's whimsical sauce. When you say whimsical, you mean like this. What is this sauce even made of? Well, it was made on a whim, so I don't know the ingredients that went into it. Well, it'll probably be fine. Probably. Fine. The chef's skills are pretty good, so maybe it just looks bad today. In a tone that seemed like she was trying to convince herself, she sent the waiter away. Keith bowed before bringing the same dish to a different customer. After confirming that the other customer ate the dish without any issues, the woman let out a small sigh of relief before digging into her own dish. Gurk. What's with this sticky and droopy sauce? The meat is overcooked, tough and bitter, and the smell is even worse. Hey! Just as she threw the fork against the table and stood up, a loud voice resonated throughout the store. This new dish is the best. The smell and aridity is perfectly blended together with this new sauce. It's delicious. If I wasn't such a connoisseur, this blend of flavors would have slipped by me entirely. Anyone who would complain about this dish is showing just how plebeian their tastes are. Hearing the words of the other customers, the woman fell silent and sat back down. It's a little overblown, the way they are shouting praises while stuffing their mouths, but as far as acts go, it wasn't too bad. Seeing the other customers happily dig into their meals like that, the woman also helped herself to the food, though it's obvious that she isn't enjoying it in the slightest. Her brow furrowed and her frown deepened with each and every bite. Say, what did you put in that? When I asked the chef that, he clapped his hands and proudly laughed. I just threw the meat on the pan without removing the blood first, and the sauce is made by adding a whole bunch of sugar to the Tokorotan slime you brought. So it's just hard and bitter meat covered in sweet and clumpy sauce, huh? Yeah, of course she would make that face. Still, perhaps it's because of her pride. The woman still forced herself to finish the dish before uttering a thanks for the meal, and leaving, her face painted with a green of nausea. The moment she left, the adventurers who were posing as customers stood up as one and made a rush for the toilet. Blay. Seriously, are you trying to kill us? There's a limit on how bad you can make a dish taste. Why did you make us eat the same thing? You could have just given us something that looked the same. Actually, you take a bite too. As if I could eat something this disgusting. What is wrong with you? Ignoring the fight brewing between the kitchen staff and the customers, Keith and I exited the store and went after the woman. Afterwards, we continued harassing her by changing the seasonings while she wasn't looking, or jacking up the prices by several times its normal price when she tried to buy something, and other such antics. At the end of the day, a tired-seeming woman retreated back to the high-class hotel she was staying at. This really is completely different from the inn that I usually stay at. She is really living a rich life with the money she took from the others. Well, you occasionally pass out drunk and sleep by the roadside, after all. The person standing next to me isn't Keith, but lowly succubus. Her abilities will be more useful from this point out. This time is a special occasion. I'm only helping out because I heard that it'd be helpful to Vanir-sama. Don't get the wrong idea. Yeah, I get it. If you do well, Sir Vanir might even get happy enough to give you a head pat or two. Really? I think she's starting to drool. Say, didn't you tell me that, thinking that girls enjoy getting patted on the head is the fantasy of a virgin? At some point? There's nothing strange about it. It's only natural for be happy when someone you've adored is doing it, isn't it? If you do it, it'd be sexual harassment, but Vanir-sama is different. If anything, I'd rather he pat all my important bits too. This girl. Oh, I thought of something good. I don't know what's going through her head, but she crossed her arms and nodded repeatedly. There's plenty I want to say right now, but I'll bear with it on account of you helping me today. You're prepared, right? Leave it to me. I have the perfect idea of what dream to show her. The reason I called upon her is to give that woman a nightmare. After going through such a horrible day, she's sure to have turned in early. I'll let her see the ultimate nightmare as a present tonight. Source at C Translations, Me Part 7. The next day, I was dressed up as a fortune teller and sitting back at that street I was at yesterday, when someone sat down opposite me. I looked up, and sitting there was the very haggard-looking newbie adventurer. "Oh, you seem quite tired today. Did you have too much fun last night?" It was an absolutely horrible day. I got drenched in some mysterious sticky substance, none of my shopping turned out well, and I saw a nightmare where I got chased by a horde of blonde perverts. Just remembering it makes me shudder. Well, guess the nightmare worked out after all. Though, the contents of that nightmare seem a little weak somehow. I'll ask lowly succubus for more details later. By the way, do you have some business with me today, lady? I don't really want to, but I have no choice but to believe in your fortune after everything that's happened. Yes, she fell for it. Here's the critical part. Oh, is that so? Well then, what would you like me to divine today? Perhaps the color of your panties? I've been practicing some breast-fondling fortune-telling too, so perhaps you would like to give it a shot. I'll pass on that. Just give me a regular fortune. Something that would bring me good luck again. Good luck, huh? He-ho. I placed my hands on the crystal ball and made some strange movements, accompanied by various strange noises too. The newbie adventurer jumped a little in surprise, but unlike yesterday, she's watching me with interest today. Oh, there we go. The magic item shop at the end of this street is having a sale right now. Apparently, the item they are recommending is your lucky item. Magic item shop? Indeed. Manning that store is a pale beauty of a shopkeeper and a masked store assistant. The item that the masked man recommends is the key to your good fortune. Masked store assistant? That sounds suspicious, but I suppose it's worth checking out. Thank you, here's your payment. She gave me more money than I expected, but I simply accepted it without saying a word. Could fortune-telling be more profitable than adventuring? You prodded her quite well. Just like yesterday, Sir Vanier emerged from underneath the table. The condition for getting his help with the fortune-telling was to get that woman to buy an item from his store. With this, you'll be able to get rid of some of your inventory. She looks to be pretty loaded, so you should be able to get some money out of her. Indeed. At this rate, this month's ledgers would be filled with red ink thanks to that incompetent shopkeeper. Very well, moi shall rush back to the store. Thank you for your assistance. We're friends, aren't we? I'll help you out any time you need. Sir Vanier sped away from the table, and I saw him off with a huge wave. Now then, I've already directed her towards Sir Vanier, so my part of the deal is done. Now all that's left to do is to see how things play out. I packed up my fortune-telling store into a bag and headed towards the magic item shop. There's no way I could have kept up with Sir Vanier's speed, and by the time I reached the shop, he was already dressed in an apron and welcoming her as a customer. Welcome, young lady who is apparently quite beautiful by human standards. Ah, was that a compliment? Peeking in through the window, it doesn't seem like Wiz is manning the store at the moment. She isn't crumpled on the floor like she usually is, so she's probably outside somewhere. Just as I thought that, I smelt a faint burnt scent along with something flowery. Is she in the yard? I followed that smell, and around the corner of the store, just out of sight of the street, was a charred Wiz laying in a crumpled heap. Ah, she probably bought something useless again and got punished by Vanier. Or maybe he just pushed her here to keep her from interfering. Well, in any case, she'll heal in time, so I turned my attentions back to what's happening inside the store. Is this really the item that you recommend? And just in time too. I barely got back to the window before I heard the newbie adventurer's incredulous voice. I peeked inside, and in Sir Vanier's hands was a strangely realistic-looking doll. It was wearing a dress that made it seem like the young lady of some noble family. This doll is rumored amongst the neighbors to raise your luck. Its hair will grow naturally on its own, so feel free to style its hair whichever way you like. It occasionally moves from where you've placed it, but that is a small matter. Pay it no heed. Of course not. It sounds just like a cursed doll. What are you saying? Let's leave the jokes there. This doll has plenty of other useful functions too. One of those functions is that, if you tell the doll a specific time, it will wake you up at that time. Why don't we give it a try? Sir whispered something into the doll's ear and placed it on top of the counter. As the newbie adventurer and I watched, the doll's mouth dropped open and from it emitted a loud, creepy-sounding laugh. Kyuk-keek. Eep. What's up with this? Foo-ha-ha-ha-ha. No matter how deep in sleep you are, this function will wake you straight up. Isn't it amazing? Incidentally, if you leave it alone for too long, it might attack you with the short sword it keeps in its bust. Oh, and it also comes fully equipped to brew tea. That makes it sound like I'll take an eternal sleep if I'm not careful. Anyway, never mind that. How do you stop this thing? She pointed at the doll, which was still laughing over the voices of both Sir Vanier and the newbie adventurer. Just hearing it through the glass is giving me the migraines, so I'm sure it'd be quite painful for those within the store. Thought Sir seems unaffected. A way to stop it, huh? You'll have to force its mouth close with all of your strength. Say that earlier. Hey, this doll is really struggling. Hey, doesn't this look really strange? From a distance, watching her desperately try to close her hand over that doll's mouth makes her seem like a criminal trying to abduct a small child. You'll be able to get some exercise the moment you awaken, so that'll perk you up too. Forget it. Don't you have any other items you recommend? Was that not to your liking? Then, what about the popular Vanier doll that laughs at night? Apart from that, there's this necklace that has a gem that repels monsters embedded in it. What do you think? Sir retrieved a necklace from the shelves behind him. It didn't look half bad, to be honest. Just what's with you and laughing dolls? Well, that necklace looks pretty nice, so I'm fine with that. How strong is the monster repellent effect? It'd repel monsters around the level of a goblin and such. That's not too bad. True, that doesn't sound too bad. It'd actually be pretty popular amongst merchants and carriage drivers if that was all it does. Of course, there's no way any item sold by this store could be that straightforward. The drawback is that the jewel lets out a sweet scent, but all that does is attract monsters, so there's no need to concern yourself with that. Say, that scent, wouldn't it cancel out the monster repellent effect? That's quite a major drawback. The adventurer doesn't seem to be too into it, but at the end of the day, there wasn't much else of worth in the store, so she left with the necklace along with a bunch of other miscellaneous knick-knacks. Sigh, there goes all my money. Maybe it's time I bid farewell to this town and go back to Elroad. The woman, clutching a bag full of useless goods, grumbled as she exited the store. Elroad is the city of gamblers, right? This girl just doesn't learn. Well, she already decided to leave this town, so there's really no need for this, but just for good measure, I'll sneak by her room and leave that doll under her bed later tonight. Part 8. 3 days have passed since then. The money I've gotten while I was working as a fortune teller was all gone by now, so I headed into the guild. Sitting at our usual table was Lynn, Keith, and, this time, Taylor too. Looks like they parted ways. I have no idea what their farewell was like, but a little teasing wouldn't go amiss. Sup? Oh, Master Taylor, it's been some time. Don't call me that. It makes my skin crawl. You've been spending a lot of time with a girl recently, right? Introduce me to her sometime. The moment I said that, Keith and Lynn raised their fingers to their mouths and made shushing motions at me. What's with them? This reaction. Oh, I see. He must have been dumped before they parted ways, huh? Oh, what? Don't tell me you were dumped. We weren't going out in the first place. I was only teaching her the basics of being an adventurer. Oh, is that so? Anyway, where's that girl now? She went back to her homeland. It seems like her mother suddenly fell ill, so she'll be taking a break from being an adventurer to tend to her mother. So that's the excuse she went with. It's quite impressive for her to be able to keep up that pure, innocent newbie image all the way to the end. Well, as long as he doesn't find out, it'd just be a happy memory for him. She's no longer in this town, so I suppose there's no reason to reveal the truth. I caught a glimpse of her a couple of days before, and she seemed genuinely haggard from the 2 sleepless nights she had before. She probably won't be coming back to this town anytime soon. It was completely unexpected, and she used up all her money buying her equipment, so I gave her all the money I had on hand to help with the treatment. I hope it'd come in handy. That bitch. She had him around her finger all the way to the end. And Taylor too. How could he be tricked so easily? Anyway, I don't have any money at the moment. I would like to take a quest right now, so would you join me? I'm always broke, so I don't mind. Keith and Lynn nodded in agreement. These guys always ignore me whenever I'm broke, but they'll happily help Taylor out, huh? That's what I wanted to say, but just for today, I'll lend a hand to that kind-hearted leader of ours. Chapter 2, Tailing That Noisy Bunch Part 1. There's no way I'll hand over my cute little sister off to some man from who knows where. Maybe I can use Megumin's explosion to blow away the entire castle. No, wait, I could go behind Aqua's back and enlist the help of the Axis cult. No matter what methods I use. Sitting alone at the table, a drunk Kazuma was muttering some pretty dangerous-sounding things under his breath. I'm pretty deep into my cups myself, so I only heard about half of it, but it's clearly obvious that he's in a foul mood. It's quite unusual to find you alone, Kazuma. Don't worry, your best friend, that is to say, me, will have a drink with you today. There's no need to restrain yourself. Bring on the beer. It'll be my friend's treat today. It's supposed to be the other way round. Don't try and take advantage of me, you drunk. I don't have the time to play with you today. And pay for your drinks, I'm not treating you. Don't be so petty. Aren't we the best of friends? Never mind friends, we are but acquaintances at best. Come now, don't be shy, you little brat. I pulled on the cheeks of Kazuma, who said something utterly unthinkable. Cut it out, I'm seriously troubled right now. There's no doubt that right now, my cute little sister is crying into her mattress as she waits for me to save her. He coldly stared at me as he pried my hands off. It doesn't seem like this is a good opportunity to tease him. Still, did Kazuma have a sister? Oh yeah, come to think of it, a certain princess did look up to Kazuma like a brother. Could it be that the entire kingdom is embroiled in some big incident? Oh, sorry. Still, what are you troubled by? You've helped me a lot over the past few months, so feel free to tell me about your problems. If you do it right now, it's free. I'd be better off consulting with Aqua or the others than you. Though, Megumin seems like she's jealous. Darkness is technically a noble of this kingdom, and Aqua's flat out. Dust. Dush. Huh. There really are no decent folks around me. Sigh. Well, you probably won't let me leave until I tell you, right? Kazuma let out a huge sigh and shook his head. He knows me quite well. Ha. Say, if you had a sister. No, if you knew that someone really important to you is betrothed to someone you know nothing about, what would you do? Kazuma's words sobered me up in an instant. Someone really important to him is betrothed, huh? He must be talking about that princess. Come to think of it, she was bemoaning something about a betrothal back then, wasn't she? Hey, what's wrong? What's with that serious expression of yours? I'm just taken aback after being asked such a question out of nowhere. Are you talking about the explosion girl or darkness? Or that party priest? Nah, forget I said that. No. Heck, even if they had such a partner, it'd be fine to leave them be. There's no way anyone else will be able to put up with them. That is true. A crimson demon that has to fire of 1 explosion per day. An utterly perverted noble. And a priest of the Axis cult good for nothing other than consuming wine, performing party tricks, and causing problems for others. I feel like cheering on anyone who would want to go out with them. Actually, I really want to see that. Right? Besides, those girls aren't that easy. Never mind that. Anyway, what will you do, Dust? You got into a rough spot back when you thought Lin was dating someone, right? Please don't remind me of that. I really don't want to think about it. The incident Kazuma was referring to was that time I suspected that Lin was being pressured by a nobleman and asked for his help in getting back at him. Just thinking back to it sends a chill down my spine. Say, what happened at the end of the day? Did you really? Of course not. I didn't stay there very long afterwards. It's true. Don't look at me with that pitying gaze of yours. Kazuma placed a hand on my shoulder and made an expression that seemed to say, you don't have to say anything, I understand. He definitely did not understand. Anyway, back to your story. If the person that is really important to you is out of your reach, letting her go and praying for their happiness would be for the best. I rested a hand on the sword I wore on my waist. That doesn't sound like you at all, Dust. I was expecting you to say something like, I'd punch him and take her back. But, what would you do if that man turned out to be a fiend? In that case, I would just punch him and take her back. Afterwards, I'd pull my revenge on him. Ensuring that the person who is important to me is happy is the absolute minimum requirement, after all. After learning that she's unhappy, it's only natural to resort to forceful measures. Right? I knew you'd understand. Right, it's my treat, so feel free to order away. In exchange, lend me your aid. You're great at scheming, right? Oh, really? Alright, leave it to me. I'll teach you all the little scams and pranks you can pull while just staying out of the hands of the police. I drank wine like water and caused a huge ruckus with Kazuma, and just like that, the night passed. Part 2, my head hurts. Seems like I really went overboard yesterday. Hangovers are the worst. Forcing my eyes open, I noticed the sun shining directly above me. There's no roof. Where am I? I thought the ground was a little too hard and cold. It seems that I fell asleep at the back of a road somewhere. I recall talking to Kazuma yesterday, but what did we actually talk about? I recall it involving a woman at some point, but I'm at a complete blank when it comes to recalling specifics. Oh well, it most likely wasn't anything important anyways. I should go hit up my companions for a glass to wake me up. After getting up and working the kinks from my body, I hurried down to the Adventurers Guild. Inside the guild, Lin and the others were seated at their usual spots, along with someone else seated right opposite them. Did they accept a quest while I was out and are getting more details from the client? I couldn't make out their features from behind, but they seemed to be dressed like a magician. Ah, Dust, come over here. Lin waved me over, so I sat down at the open seat. It was at this point that I noticed that the other person is the noble lady I met before, Rain. She acts as the bodyguard and guardian of the princess of this kingdom, Iris. Lin and I once worked together with her on a quest. What's she doing at the Adventurers Guild? It's not another troublesome matter involving Iris, is it? Oh, if it isn't the plain and poor noble. I ran into a few ways to make easy money just a few days ago, so, are you interested? I did say to act natural around me the last time we met, but I am still a noble, so do please watch your words a little. Tell me more about those matters later. A vein popped on Rain's temple as she forced a smile onto her face. It seems like she doesn't agree with being called poor or plain. So, what's going on? Just so you know, I'm not about to lend you money. I think a noble would rather consider honorable suicide than owe someone like you money. Never mind that, Rain-san asked for us personally for some kind of job. And it sounds like the rewards would be quite hefty too. Dust-sama, Lin-sama, thank you for your help the other day. Along with those words, Lin went into a deep bow. Unlike the other nobles that I'm familiar with, Rain is not above dealing with commoners. There's another noble that frequently works with her, but she has the typical noble's mindset, so we don't get along very well. Dust, Lin, when did you get involved with the nobles? You didn't get her involved in some criminal activity, did you? Hey, she's quite a beauty. Though, she is a little plain for my tastes, but a beauty is still a beauty. You best tell me all about it later. Taylor and Keith crowded around me and whispered in hushed voices. I causally waved them away and said, later, under my breath before continuing. Quest, huh? Well, I'm fine as long as we get paid. So, what's it about? Yes. I can't tell you the specifics, but I would like you to watch over Alisama's escorts. Watch over the escorts. Not act as her escort. I thought it was just a simple error, but it seemed to have caught Keith's interest. No, it's not a mistake. I would like you to watch over the escorts so that they won't get up to anything unusual. You're not saying that there's a traitor amongst the escorts or anything dangerous like that, are you? If she didn't misspeak, then that was the only situation I could think of. Considering Iris's position, it would not be strange for her retinue to be infiltrated by the Demon King or be subject to some kind of power struggles. Still, would they really come to us adventurers for such a serious matter like this? They aren't hiring us so they could have us silenced if it comes to it, are they? They are nobles, after all, and one's close to the royal family as well. I wouldn't put it beneath them. Ah no, that is not the case. In fact, I would like you to keep an eye on Alisama too so that she doesn't get up to any stupid, unbelievable, strange behaviors while she's with them. This woman just referred to the royalty of this kingdom as stupid just now. She tried to cover it up, but she can't slip by me that easily. Incidentally, Alice is the alias that Iris is using. I'm not quite sure what you're asking of us. I know that Alice is the daughter of a high-ranking noble family, but, well, in the first place, is she headed off to somewhere? Well, the matter of Alisama's betrothal has been settled, so she's headed over to Elroad to meet her fiancé. Betrothal. I feel like I've heard that term just a short while ago. I think I talked about that with Kazuma over a few glasses of beer quite recently, but I can't remember any specifics. Well, she's at the age where such arrangements are normal. Still, she's getting married to some rich noble, right? I really want to tell this to Luna. She'll probably start crying tears of envy. Don't do that, Dust. If Luna heard that, she'll definitely push some impossible quest upon us. You know, talking about matters of romance is off limits around her. Luna has a good body and is quite popular as a receptionist, but she has absolutely no luck when it comes to romance, and she's at the age where she's starting to seriously fret about such matters. It's not unthinkable for her to give us some really dangerous quest with a smile on her face if I were to tease her about that. So she has a fiancé at such a young age? I always thought nobles are quite carefree, but I suppose they have their troubles too. Still, I guess it's nice not having to worry about finding a partner in the future. You're far too young to be worrying about marriage, Lin. Besides, you already have the best possible partner right here. I stood up and jabbed my thumb towards myself. Seeing that, Lin let out a snort and went, "Ha, that's pretty amusing coming from you." Alice-sama is a wonderful person. She is sensible and understands the position she has. At least, that's how she used to be, but she's been becoming quite wild lately after getting influenced by that person. Nowadays, she sneaks out from the cast mansion almost every day. That person she's talking about is Kazuma, right? Come to think of it, Claire was complaining about him too, wasn't she? Something about her learning all kinds of weird things and becoming better at sneaking out by the day. I'm just guessing here, but those escorts, they don't happen to be Kazuma and his party, are they? The moment I asked that, my companions shot me questioning looks. Yeah, it must seem like Kazuma's name just came out of nowhere with what they know. That would be the case. Alice-sama looks up to Kazuma-sama like her own brother, so things might become troublesome. I did ask Dustina-sama to try to get him to refuse to be her escort, but it remains to be seen if she is successful in doing so. So the reason why Rain is so worried is because of Kazuma, huh? In addition, Claire-sama is against the betrothal as well, so there is a possibility that she might hatch some scheme to sabotage the whole endeavor. If she and Kazuma-sama were to work together, say, is it really alright for a vassal to work against the goals of their princess? Claire is another noble who works as Iris-sama's bodyguard and guardian, much like Rain. She was quite smitten with Iris last I saw her, and I thought she was a pretty dangerous person, but to think that she'd put Iris over the country. Elrode, the country where Iris's fiancé comes from, provides massive financial aid to the kingdom of Belzerg. I recall witnessing Iris being distressed over them sending lesser amounts back when I accidentally spied on her through the power of Sir's mask. Getting involved in the betrothal of a princess, huh? To be honest, it sounds like nothing but trouble, so I really don't want to get involved, but I can't just refuse after remembering how she was that night. It will probably turn out fine, but it'd be a big deal if something were to happen to the princess, so I would like you to keep an eye on Kazuma-sama and his party, just in case anything goes wrong. It's only natural to take all precautions for a princess that's visiting a foreign country. Moreover, the people escorting her are Kazuma and his party. They have plenty of accomplishments under their belt, but if you ask me if Kazuma is well suited to being a bodyguard, I might be his friend, but even I wouldn't vouch for him on that front. I'm happy that you would offer us such a job, but wouldn't it be better to hire actual bodyguards rather than adventurers for this job? I'm of the same mind as Lin. If you really want to guarantee Alice's safety, it'd be best to seek help from bodyguards. It's not like you're lacking money like Dust here, right? I generally agree with what my companions are saying, but I kept my mouth shut. Rain seemed to hesitate for a moment before replying. That is true, but this trip is supposed to be a low-profile visit, so we cannot mobilize entire troops of soldiers to escort her. The bodyguards need to be small in number and not stand out. They would also be using dragon carriage to reduce the chances of running into enemies en route, and, in the first place, Alice-sama is quite strong. Is she really that strong with how cute she looks? Still, a dragon carriage, huh? Those things are pulled by lizard runners, and I've heard that their speed is incomparable to regular horse-drawn carriages. Lin seems to have a hard time believing that Iris could be that strong. The reason why Iris is strong is probably because she's been eating high-quality food that provides experience points when eaten every day. It's a common thing for noble families to do. Plus, I've heard that the royal lineage of Belzerg traces their way back to many heroes in the past, and they are blessed with many abilities from the moment they are born. So basically, all we need to do is to keep an eye on them to prevent Kazuma and his party from teaching her anything strange, ensure her safety, and prevent anything from interfering with the betrothal talks, right? Yes, that's the gist of it. But when you reach the town, simply keeping an eye on Kazuma and his party would do. If anything happens, please write it down in this notebook. We'll arrange for any necessary compensations afterwards. Oh, and Alice-sama's father is a fairly influential noble in this country, so she might end up visiting the royal castle. If that happens, please just wait at the gate. Rain was putting some serious emphasis on that last point. Well, I suppose it'd be problematic if Alice's identity as the princess of this kingdom was exposed. The rewards she offered were huge, and our lodgings would be paid for. On top of that, a dragon carriage would be prepared for us too, so that's travel arrangements taken care of. There's really no reason for us to refuse such a good deal, so we eventually accepted. Truth be told, I really don't want to get involved with the royalty, but it's a different story if I'm being paid to visit the country of casinos, Elrode. We even got a nice amount of money up front, so I'll be able to gamble to my heart's content. After Rain left the guild, Keith and Taylor started pressing me about the details of our relationship. When I told them about the adventure I went on with Yunyun, Lin, and the two nobles, Keith became overcome with envy and started drinking. It wasn't long before he was sprawled out on the table. Why does Dust have all the luck with women? Keith mumbled while resting his head on the table. I think it'll be best to let him be for now. So Alice, who those two nobles serve under, is on good terms with Kazuma, which is why she asked him to be her escort. Is that right? Kazuma's party is quite powerful, but all of them are too specialized. Being bodyguards don't really suit their skills. The explosion girl would retire after a single blast, and darkness seems like she'll happily ignore her ward and charge into a mass of monsters at the earliest opportunity. Well, that's why they asked us to watch over them from the shadows. All we have to do is to pick up after them, so it sounds like it'd be a pretty easy job. True. It's dangerous to let your guard down, but it does seem like a pretty good deal. I'll go secure the tools we need for our journey. You guys rest up. Seems like it'd be fine to leave the preparations to Taylor. Lynn looks like she'd be staying here for a while longer, so I said my goodbyes and left the guild. I don't really have anything to do right now, so I guess I'll head over to Sir's shop. Recently, I've been heading over to Sir's magic item shop to kill time. Well, it's technically the shop of the beautiful and eternally poor Wiz, but from what I can tell, Sir Vanir is the one who's actually keeping the shop afloat. Sir, I came over to play. As I opened the door, Sir Vanir, who was sweeping the floor, twisted his mouth into a grimace. You came here again? Unlike a certain delinquent, Moi is busy today. If you have no business here, it's best you leave quickly. Yes. Don't get in Vanir-sama's way. Those words apply to succubi like you too. Lowly Succubus was standing by Sir Vanir's side. Is it just me, or does she seem to spend more time in the shop than me? Hey, Lowly Succubus, why are you lazing around here in the middle of the day? What happened to your job? My job only starts at night. Besides, to think that Dust-san would say such a line. Did you bring a mirror with you? I'm heading out on some long-term work tomorrow. It doesn't seem like you are lying. Moi shall offer to divine your fortune for a discount if you accept it now. How about it? Sir is a devil that can see the future, and his predictions have a very high accuracy rate. I myself made use of his power while planning that prank on that girl, so I am very much aware of how accurate it is. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'll have to decline. Sir's fortune-tellings are more predictions than fortunes, and nothing good have come out of them thus far. His predictions were certainly on point back during the trip to the hot springs town, but Sir seems to find joy in omitting certain information in order to trip me up. He's a devil that feeds on dark emotions, after all. You'd just be setting yourself up for pain if you trust him completely. That's not my fault. You merely reaped what you sown. That's right. Vanir-sama isn't at fault at all. You should take a good look at yourself and reflect on your behavior. This girl. She becomes really annoying whenever Sir Vanir is involved. Why the hell are you getting more angry than the person himself? Oh, shut up. What are you, my mother? I wouldn't want a child like Dust-san even if you begged for it. Hey, I was plenty cute when I was a child. Even if you were cute in the past, in the end, you still ended up like this. Lowly Succubus glared at me with a disdainful look on her face. Don't say that. Don't point at me either. Oh, shut up. If you want to perform a comedy skit, go do it outside. You might even attract a few customers that way. There's no fun taking part in a comedy skit with her. Even if I accidentally touch her chest during a skit, there's no enjoyment to be gained from a chest as flat as hers. I looked at Lowly Succubus's pitiful chest and shrugged my shoulders, and she narrowed her eyes. It's really rude for you to be poking fun at a girl's assets like that. It's not like you're packing anything big down there in the first place. She glanced down at my trousers and let out a meaningful grin. Hey, what are you saying? You've never even laid eyes on my long sword. I saw it back at the hot springs, remember? It really looked more like a short sword to me. Ah no, wait, that's wrong. I think a knife is a better term to describe it. Right, if you are going to go that far, I'll let you confirm it again. Hold your eyelids open and take a good look at. Ouch. The moment I placed my hands on my belt, I felt a sharp rap against my head. Turning around, Sir Vanir was there with a displeased expression on his face. Cut this out if you do not wish me to toss you out for obstructing business. Ones who are poor in assets in the chest and trousers. It's not like that. Mine are still growing. I'm a late bloomer, that's all. Please touch them and confirm it for yourself. Seriously, mine isn't small. Before Lowly Succubus could remove her coat or I could undo my belt, Sir Vanir hit us on the head once more. Stop pulling out strange stuff in the middle of the shop. There are already too few customers as is. I'll give you a fortune as a free service, so hurry up and leave. No, there's no need. Sir stared intently at me before I could voice my objection. Oh ho, my. Good for nothing fool, Moi sees you losing big at a grand casino. Indeed, you seem to be blessed with the fate of drawing the weakest possible card during your most important game. Foo ha ha ha. Seriously? I knew I shouldn't have had my fortune told. Isn't there a way to make sure I win big at a casino? Anything beyond this isn't free. If you really want to know, you best pay up. I heard about this from that brat, but this method is apparently a great way to make money. What an underhanded method. I don't have any money on me right now, so I'll pass on that. I really want to know, but there's nothing I can do about my lack of funds. Still, Sir's predictions do occasionally end up being wrong, don't they? Was there such a grand casino in Axel? There's no such thing in this town. We are heading off to Elroad that's famous for its casinos. That part about me losing big must be taking place over there. You're heading off to Elroad? Why yeah, that's the plan. Lowly Succubus was looking at me with sparkling eyes. Was it really that surprising? Please take me along with you. You're interested in casinos? Right, I'll take you to a gambling den today. If you lend me some money, I'll give you back twice as much. I thought that Succubi didn't care for anything other than Sir Vanir, but to think that she would have an interest in gambling. As her senior, I'll have to teach her about the joy of gambling. I don't really care about gambling. But she shot me down instantly. Then, why do you want to come with me? Is that it? Sorry for noticing your feelings, but, I'm sorry, I just can't see a kid as a woman. I'm not interested in you. even if it does feel bad to be rejected. Anyway, in the first place, I'm not a kid. I might look like this, but I'm older than you. Yes, that's amazing. I'm sure you'll look very sexy once your boobs have grown. I pulled some random soothing words on a whim and patted her on the head, and lowly succubus angrily stomped her foot on the ground. Gra. Vanir-sama. This man is really infuriating. This delinquent's talent at getting on people's nerves is the best in the world, so don't engage with him. More importantly, do enlighten us on the reason why you wish to visit Elroad. Well, you see, there are some plans amongst the succubi to set up a shop in Elroad. We've been planning to pay it a visit soon, and this seems like the perfect chance to do so. I see. In truth, this is the first I've heard that there isn't a succubus shop in Elroad. Damn it, that's one less thing to be looking forward to. Setting up a succubus shop in a town of casinos isn't a bad idea. Once people have their wallets filled, they'll naturally seek to fill their other desires. There's no end to the greed of humans, after all. It's strangely convincing when it comes from someone who might as well be a mass of desires like you. Yeah. Both of them nodded in unison, but I'll just ignore that for now. Lowly succubus, huh? Well, there's no issue with just taking her along. The only woman in our party is Lynn. She didn't say anything, but it's only natural to feel a little uneasy to be the only woman amongst men when taking a long trip. I don't mind taking you along. The others probably won't have any complaints either. Thank you very much. I'll give you a coupon for the succubus shop as payment, so share it with everyone, alright? Ooh, thanks. Oh, there's 10 of them. I'll make sure to make good use of these. After all, she wouldn't be coming with us at all if it wasn't for me. Do come over here for a moment. Allow me to give you a little piece of advice. What is it? Don't tell me, it's a confession. Just as I moved towards the door, Sir Vanir called lowly succubus towards him. I turned around to see Sir whispering something into lowly succubus's ear. I can't make out what he's saying from here, but judging from lowly succubus's expression, it's definitely not a confession. Part 3. We gathered together on the outskirts of the capital on the day Kazuma's group was supposed to set off. The ones heading on this journey would be me, Taylor, Keith, Lynn, and, as a late addition, lowly succubus. Once again, thank you very much for having me. It's not much, but please help yourselves to these snacks. Welcome aboard. There's no need to stand on courtesy. Lowly succubus was welcomed with bright smiles as she repeatedly bowed and offered up a box of snacks. We've been on the same party several times before, so they are already used to her. I wanted to invite Yun to join us to ensure a smooth journey, but her loner powers must have activated because I couldn't find her anywhere, so I gave up on it. So this is a dragon carriage, huh? It's really pulled by lizard runners. Though it seems a little plainer than I expected. I was expecting something flashier for a noble's vehicle. What say we spruce it up ourselves? Don't be rude, Keith. We are supposed to tail them from the shadows, so it'd be foolish to ride in a vehicle that stands out. I'm sure Rain removed the furnishings so that it'd blend in easier. Keith seemed somewhat disappointed when Taylor admonished him. Yes, ultimately, we would like you to keep a low profile, so the exterior is deliberately arranged so that it doesn't stand out. However, while the exterior is stripped down, the furnishings inside are still fully intact, so rest easy. There aren't any wheels, but Rain, who came alone to hand the carriage over to us, moved her hands and muttered something at the carriage. At this, the carriage began floating a short distance above the ground. With this, the weight will be reduced even further, and the entire vehicle would be able to move even faster. Ooh, it's floating off the ground. How is it doing that? This is the first time I've seen it in action. As expected of a noble. As I watched my companions start to fall all over themselves marveling over the dragon carriage, I felt lowly succubus pull on my sleeve. Dust-san, you don't seem impressed at all. Isn't this a rare sight? Well, this isn't my first time I saw something like this, after all. It's rare for most noble families to own something like this, but it's a common sight amongst royal families. Rain then proceeded to explain the various things to look out for. I can leave matters like that to Taylor. Soon after, she bowed and said, I'll leave the rest in your hands, before heading back to where Kazuma was. From this distance, Kazuma and his party are but a small speck on the horizon, but that's within my calculations. Keith, can you tell what's going on over there? Don't worry, with my far sight, they are crystal clear to me. As an archer, Keith has access to the skill far sight, allowing him to see distant objects as though they are right in front of him. Wait, doesn't Kazuma have far sight too? Ah. X3 Lin's innocent question stopped us in our tracks. Come to think of it, he did mention that before. But we have the map and know what route they'll be taking, so it'll be fine, probably. Surely it'll be fine if we keep our distance, right? My far sight is superior to his, so if we stay far enough back that I can only just barely see them, it'll work out. Those responses don't exactly put me at ease, but it'll probably work out. It won't do us any good to get all worked up over it. Look, they seem like they are about to set off, so hurry up and get on. I'll be the driver. Oh, thanks. The lizard runners seem to have taken a liking to you, so I'll leave them in your hands. Women constantly treat you like trash, but animals and monsters really do take a liking to you. You're not releasing any kind of strange pheromones, are you? You little, stop waddling around and get on. After chasing my companions onto the carriage, I patted the lizard runner closest to me on the back before settling into the driver's seat. I'll be counting on you. D-Dust. Don't you think this is a little too fast? This is way too fast, Eep. See, can't you slow down a little? Isn't this dangerous? The wailing of my companions coming from behind me is quite annoying. It seems like they've gotten a little freaked out by how fast we are moving. Don't worry, have a little faith in my skills. We can't. X3 It's only at times like this when you all speak in unison. This kind of speed is nothing to write home about. It's nothing compared to the speed of a dragon in flight. I found it a little strange that lowly succubus was the only one not freaking out, so I briefly looked back and found her glued to the window and happily seeing the world pass by. This is so much more relaxing than flying myself. I guess she's less afraid of speed than my companions because she's able to fly under her own power. Remember what Rain told us. There's a powerful barrier placed on this carriage, so even if we get into an accident, we'll be fine. Plus, if we slow down, we'll lose sight of Kazuma. We've managed to keep pace with Kazuma's carriage so far, but if we slow down for even a little, we'll lose track of them instantly. Just who is driving their carriage? It'd take a veteran not to lose their nerve when traveling at such speeds. Hey, Keith, can you see who's driving Kazuma's carriage? I grabbed the cowering Keith by the collar and pulled him up to the front of the coach. The wind is in my face. Hey, you, don't turn back while driving at this speed. Look forward. It's fine. So, can you see who's holding the reins? Keith, his face a pale green of fear, narrowed his eyes on the carriage in the distance. Though, his eyes quickly widened in surprise. Did he see something shocking out there? I don't really care about the blue-haired one freaking out in the back, but Darkness looks like she's laughing it up out front. Is she alright in the head? We already know that, don't we? So that's why they are running at such a breakneck speed. The only thing I can do for her is pray they don't run into an accident. Though, Darkness will probably be happier if the carriage took a few hard knocks. I put my hands together and muttered a soft prayer. Dust. Keep your eyes open. Don't take your hands off the reins. Oh, shut up. I can keep these guys under control even with my eyes closed. See. Keith's face turned an even deeper shade of green, before seemingly passing out from fear and collapsing back in the carriage proper. Hey, Keith just went limp. Did something happen? He's out cold. More panicked voices came from behind me, but I merely casually waved back and said, he ain't dead. Keith is surprisingly weak at heart. The two of them forced their way to the front, seemingly intent on voicing their complaints, but one look at how fast the scenery was flying past seemed to drain out the fight out of them, for they soon went back into the carriage without saying a word. Just as I was starting to enjoy the sudden peace and quiet, the carriage in front of us started slowing down before coming to a stop. It wouldn't do for them to notice us, so I pulled up by the road and brought my carriage to a stop too. Did something happen? Keith, don't just laze around, take a look and tell me if you see anything. I grabbed him by the collar and forced him to face in the direction of Kazuma's carriage. We finally stopped. I never knew steady ground could be so appealing. I think I'll forget about chasing women and just chase the ground from now on. What, up front? Oh. There's a horde of monsters in the way. Kazuma and his party have exited. Why is the lady being protected going out in front? Keith's words sparked my interest, but no matter how hard I squint, I couldn't make out a single detail. I really want farsight too. If I had that skill, I could peek all I want even from a long distance away. Wah, hey, the young lady brought out a sword. At that instant, a bright light emerged from around where Kazuma's party was. I have no idea what transpired, but the shocked expression of Keith certainly did draw my interest. Hey, what happened? Don't just stand there with your mouth open, tell me. I am not entirely sure either. When the young lady swung her sword, a bright light emerged from it and split all those cow monsters cleanly in two. Does she even need a bodyguard? I thought Rain was just being polite when she said Iris was strong, but it seems like that isn't the case. The blood of heroes isn't just for show. Well, that's fine, isn't it? It'd be easier on us if we don't have to worry about them getting taken out by monsters. This scene repeated itself several times over the rest of the day. Anytime they would run into a horde of monsters, Iris would get out and take care of them in a flash. The princess is being way too flashy. Wasn't her identity supposed to be a secret? Eventually, it started to get dark out. Kazuma's carriage stopped and they started making preparations to camp out, so we brought our carriage to a stop too. Thus, our first day of tailing them came to an end. Now, all we need to do is watch over them from afar. Alice probably won't be staying up too late, so this is where we earn our keep. Just as I straightened up and spouted some cool lines towards my party, a flash of light came from behind me. I hastily turned around to gauge what happened, and found a small mansion where Kazuma and company were setting up camp. Was there always a mansion over there? Hey, I saw a flash, and a mansion suddenly appeared. What kind of trick is this? Lin and the others were thrown into disarray. Lowly Succubus seemed surprised too, but she was far calmer compared to the other three. That's a high-quality magic item. A portable mansion that can be taken with you on the go. If I recall, it also creates a monster-repelling barrier when deployed. Ah, that's one of the items that Vanir-sama wanted to get his hands on. I thought it looked familiar. Dust-sen, did you hear it from Vanir-sama too? Sure. The truth is that I actually saw a similar item in the past, but there's no need to tell her that. Say, if they have something like that, do they really need us to be here? I think so too, but that's not such a bad thing, is it? We'll be able to earn a lot of money without having to lift a finger. It'd be ungrateful to complain about that. We don't even have to keep watch over them at night. This job is turning out to be far easier than I expected. Now that there's no need to worry about Iris's safety, we started making preparations for our own camp too. Kazuma and his party are probably having a warm dinner in the safety of their mansion right now, yet we have to camp out in the open and cook our dinner over a fire. Dust, stop grumbling. This is just what we usually do, isn't it? I'm looking forward to eating out in the open with everyone. It'll be fun. Lin and Lowly Succubus are strangely optimistic. Taylor silently started roasting the meat over the fire. As for Keith, I thought he'd join in with my thoughts, but he's strangely quiet, simply staring at the mansion in the distance. You're strangely quiet. What's the matter? So unfair. He was muttering something under his breath, so I leaned in closer to better make it out. As I did so, I noticed the smell of alcohol in his breath. This guy broke out the beer and started drinking on his own. Now that I look closely, his face is also a little red. Grah! This isn't right. Arg, my ears. Don't just start shouting out of the blue. What's wrong, Keith? Did you eat something weird? It's bad manners to start snacking just before we eat, you know. What's wrong? Please calm down. This isn't good. If Keith keeps shouting like that, someone from Kazuma's party might notice us. Not to mention, it would also attract the attentions of monsters. The four of us grabbed him and tried to get him to quiet down, but Keith continued shouting. Just calm down already. What's the matter with you? This is way too unfair. Kazuma is surrounded by beautiful girls in that mansion of his, while we have to camp out in the cold. Seems like all the little things Keith was keeping bottled up inside suddenly burst out all at once. We have women here too. Ha! The only ones here are all Dust's mistresses. And he suddenly said something unbelievable. Don't say such ridiculous things. Who would be his mistress? Yeah, Dust might have helped me out a lot in the past, but ultimately our relationship is just professional. There's nothing going on. The only person I have eyes for is Vanir-sama. That is true, but seeing them deny it so vehemently does piss me off a little. Taylor, you two have gotten along well with a woman lately, so why am I the only one left out? Damn it all. He let out an anguished cry, before collapsing to the ground and falling asleep. So he was just drunk, huh? I could just leave him as is, but I kinda feel bad for him. Lin and Taylor lent Keith their shoulders and carried him off to a tent to sleep it off. As they did so, I motioned to lowly succubus and whispered into her ear. Sorry, but can you show him a good dream later? I'll pay for it. He's quite drunk, so I'm not sure if he'll actually see the dream, but I'll give it a try. You have a kind side too, don't you? It's just a dream. I would like him to at least see a good one. This isn't kindness, but sympathy. Besides, if Keith were to continue to be in such a foul mood, it might end up affecting our job. We do need his far sight, after all. Since Keith is knocked out, Taylor and I will take first watch. You two can go to sleep in the carriage. If you feel lonely, feel free to crawl into my bed and have some late-night exercises. There's no need for that. I wouldn't mind if you never wake up again. Don't look at me that coldly. Don't flash that dagger at me either, Lin. Why are all the women around me like this? Keith must be really knocked in the head somewhere to envy me. TSK, you girls really don't understand a man's kindness at all. That isn't kindness, it's perverseness. X2, why are you two so in sync? Hurry up and go to bed already. We'll be switching watches in the middle of the night. Lowly Succubus and Lin vanished into the carriage, leaving Taylor and I around the fire. So it's just us two men, huh? How dull. That's my line. Still, don't you think this is a little odd? These dragon carriages and that mansion are extremely highly sought after magic items that even nobles have trouble getting their hands on. Is she really just a noble? Of course he'd pick up on that. Taylor was the one who had the most contact with Rain during this quest, and he's the most perceptive and most serious out of all of us. It's only natural for him to get suspicious. Well, Rain did say her family is fairly important. They must wield a lot of influence. That's probably why she had us tail them from the shadows like this. That's true. In that case, it might be best not to pursue this much further. Getting the attentions of nobles tend to lead to trouble. Let sleeping Axis cultists lie and all that, right? All we need to do is tail them and get paid. But never mind that, more importantly, Taylor, nothing happened between you and that girl, right? You didn't make some sweet memories without us knowing, did you? You didn't cross that line, did you? Did you? Taylor is a very straight-laced person, so I will be able to easily tell if he's lying. He crossed his arms, fell into deep thought for a moment, and let out a huge sigh. I don't know what's going through your head, but it's just as I've said in the past. All I did was show her the ropes of being an adventurer. She was making good progress, but it's really unfortunate that her mother took ill. I only hope they managed to meet up. I see. It'd be easy to tell him that the girl was a con woman and he's been had, but I can't bring myself to do that. I do think it'd be interesting to see his reaction, but I just can't bring myself to stoop that low. It doesn't seem like anything erotic happened between them, so there's no point in talking further on this matter. Never mind me, what about you? Lin and you are just the same as ever, but you seem to be getting along quite well with that Lolisa girl and Union. Ha! Leaving Lin aside, the other two are just kids. I'm not a lelicon, so I'll pass. Though, if they grew breasts as large as Luna's, I wouldn't mind copping a feel. I really doubt that's possible. Oh, sorry, my mouth slipped. Listen, this is just between us, alright? No matter what, never let Lin know I said that. You got it. Seemingly realizing he spoke too much, Taylor turned away and started poking at the fire with a stick. It's really rare for me to talk with Taylor like this. Did something change in him after spending time with that woman? I would much rather spend the night with a beautiful woman, but I guess I'll trade some guy talk with Taylor tonight. Part 4 the next day. We continued tailing Kazuma and his party. They ran into monsters several times during their journey, but, just like yesterday, Iris made short work of them. Keith was the only one amongst us who could see them clearly, but every time he would say they ran into something, a flash of light would emerge and the battle would be over. It's to the point where I'm beginning to doubt if they actually fought at all. But whenever we neared the sites of battle, there'd be the corpses of neatly bisected monsters laying all over it, so it doesn't seem like Keith is exaggerating. We had to endure the rocking of the dragon carriage for days, but apart from that, the journey was perfectly smooth. Well, there was this one time where the explosion girl started catching crayfish in the river. We argued about what exactly she plans on doing with them, but that's really the extent of it. The only thing that concerned me was how annoying Keith's endless mutterings and general sullenness was getting. It seems like watching Kazuma being constantly surrounded by girls is making him more and more aware of what he lacks. Though, I can understand where he's coming from. Ah, I can see Elroad. Wow, is it bigger than the capital of Belzerg? Having gotten used to the speed of the dragon carriage, the two girls jostled for position out at the front of the carriage and excitedly pointed at the city rising in the distance. I'm sandwiched between Lin and lowly succubus right now, but if only they had a little more stuff up there. Did you say something? Nope, not a thing. Seems like I accidentally voiced out what I was thinking. I'll need to be careful about that. The city in front of us is surrounded by walls far larger and more impressive than the ones around Axel. After we passed through the gates on the heels of Kazuma's party, the sights of a bustling city jumped out at us. Ooh, it's just swarming with people. And unlike Axel, a lot of the people here are dressed up. If there are so many people here, you might be able to pick one or two up. What do you think, Keith? Oh yeah, if there aren't any women around me, all I need to do is get one in Elroad. There are plenty of great women here. I grabbed Keith by the shoulders to cheer him up, and Keith himself seemed to be quite taken with the idea too. Looking behind Keith, I mouthed, cheer him on too, towards my other companions. Oh of course. There's got to be one or two girls in this city who'd fall for you. Yeah. You look fairly decent as long as you don't say anything, so if you keep your true personality hidden and only communicate in writing, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up a girl. As long as you don't anger them enough to get them thirsting for your blood, you'll do fine. So the problem really is me. After hearing that, Keith curled up into a ball at a corner of the carriage and started drawing circles in the dirt. The others are trying their best to sing his praises, but that definitely had the opposite effect. Now he's even more depressed. It was supposed to encourage him. You can't blame me, he has about as many good points as you, Dust, so there really isn't much else to talk about. There's almost no chance that'll happen, but if he does manage to successfully hit on a girl, my business will go down. Ah, great, now the lights have completely vanished from Keith's eyes. I feel like I've been seeing him like this a lot lately. You guys need to be gentler. Even a trashy person would get hurt if you focus on their trashiness. Sure, Keith is an absolute piece of trash, but even so, he's the kind of person who practices in front of a mirror every morning so he'll be prepared when he gets hit on. And he makes sure to change his underwear each day so that he'll be prepared to take a woman to bed anytime. Lin and lowly succubus immediately started shying away after hearing my words. Taylor gently placed a hand on Keith's shoulder. I don't need that kind of kindness, Taylor. And Dust, stop spreading lies about me. Damn it, just you wait. I'll definitely find a girlfriend in the city and live a happy life together with her. Oh, he finally perked up. He's been sulking non-stop about the lack of women in his life for the entire journey, so it'd be nice if he mellowed out a little after this. After gaining his spirit back, Keith looked towards Kazuma and his party and noticed them entering a fairly expensive inn. Armed with this new knowledge, we decided to stay at an inn just a short way up the street from them. Seems like they'll be able to take care of the carriage and the lizard runners too. Alright, let's get down to work, shall we? After Taylor dealt with the business of renting 2 rooms, we headed upstairs. The rooms were split by gender, and Keith, Taylor, and I gathered in our room. Anyway, just who is that Alice girl? I've never even heard of someone that strong. Is there even a reason for Kazuma and his party to act as her bodyguards? Ah, I guess that applies to us too. Does it really matter who she is? Anyway, I'm heading out to take a look. Keith has started to get suspicious too, but going down that line of thought would just invite trouble on our heads, so I forcefully changed the topic. We kept watch over the other inn from a nearby alley, and before long, Kazuma and his party came out. They seem to be headed off somewhere, but I don't see Alice anywhere. Aren't they her bodyguards? Is it really fine to leave her alone like this? What irresponsible people. Are they going to skip out on their jobs and go visit a casino? They aren't you know? They probably went off to sightsee to give that girl some time alone. Well, the girl in question is waving at them from the window, so it doesn't seem like they are trying to sneak away. It could be just as Lin said. Keith said, raising a hand to his forehead to shield his eyes. The farsight skill really is convenient. I can only just barely make out the form of a human in that window from here, but he can see her well enough to make out what she's doing. Say, Keith, can you teach me how to use farsight? There's no way a warrior like you can learn it. It's not like you have the adventurer job like Kazuma. Damn it, if I had farsight, I would have been able to peek to my heart's content. Wait, Keith and Kazuma aren't off discovering new peeking spots together and enjoying majestic views without telling me, are they? You traitor. What the hell? Don't just start hitting me out of the blue. Now isn't the time for the two of you to be fooling around. I never expected that they'd leave their charge alone and split up like this. We can't just ignore them. So, what do? We can't all go after Kazuma's party. There has to be someone here to keep an eye on Alice. In that case, I'll stay behind. I'm not well suited to sneaking around, after all. Since Taylor volunteered, we left him here to watch after Alice's safety. The rest of us went after Kazuma. Kazuma and his party acted like stereotypical tourists as they walked down the streets, gazing this way and that at every new sight. If it ended up as just a simple sightseeing trip, it'd be easier on us too, so I guess I shouldn't complain. Oh, someone's approaching them. Seems like it's a group of 3 men. At Keith's warning, we quickened our pace and positioned ourselves just close enough to be able to help out if needed, but far away enough not to be noticed. Their attentions were taken up by the group of newcomers, so no one noticed us even though we crept quite close. The 3 men seems to be wearing some really fancy clothes. Most likely, they are just a bunch of rich kids. Seems like it. Oh, quiet down. I can just barely make out what they are saying from here. The four of us cupped our hands over our ears and focused on Kazuma's conversation. Oh ho, what beautiful adventurers. Hey, blonde-haired Wani-san over there, why don't you leave that boring guy alone and come with us? After hearing those words, we turned towards each other. Everyone was sporting furrowed brows and frowns. It's the same for me too, but it seems like none of us fully understood what that man was saying. Wait, don't tell me. Is that man actually hitting on those three? Hey, that's not even funny as a joke, Keith. Just who would be that reckless? There's no one in Axel who would do such a thing. Just as we shared a chuckle over Keith's tasteless joke, lowly succubus spoke up. Wait a minute, they aren't residents of Axel, so they won't know anything about those three. And, as far as appearances go, those three are quite beautiful. Oh yeah, we know what kind of people they are, so there's no way any one of us would hit on them, but they don't know a single thing about them. If you don't know their personalities, they really do just look like three beautiful girls. We were taken aback, but it seems like those three girls didn't fully understand what's going on either, if the way they are glancing around in confusion is anything to go by. The residents of Axel pretty much treat them as pariahs. So having people call them beautiful like this must be a fairly novel experience for them too. You know, I kinda feel bad for them now. Dust, you too, huh? Considering their appearances, it's only normal for such things to happen. I think I should pay more attention to my daily behavior. Me too. Everyone present is sympathizing with the three girls that are getting hit on. Your daily actions are really important things. They are absolutely gorgeous if they keep their mouth shut, but their various actions in Axel have put it all to waste. After finally realizing that they were being hit on, the three of them started hastily tidying themselves. Seeing such a sight brought tears to our eyes. The party priest then got ahead of herself and said something which put the three men on guard. I didn't need to hear what she actually said to get the gist of things. Next, the explosion girl took a step forward. Basically, the three of you are saying that, if we could go on a date with a super beautiful girl like you and these two beautiful girls, we're willing to put our assets and life on the line. That said, why don't we go on a date? Is that what you wanted to say? Not to that extent. X3 The three men immediately refuted. Seems like they finally noticed that they were playing with fire. The three men turned around and started discussing amongst themselves. Guess it's a little too early for us to show up. It doesn't seem like their attempt will go very well. Besides, it's not like Kazuma would just let them go. There's no way he'll stay silent while his companions are being hit on right in front of him. Even if Kazuma sees them as more of a bunch of troublemaking children, I'm sure he'll step in here. Please go ahead. X4 In response to Kazuma's unexpected response, both us and the people over there reacted in unison. He's kidding, right? Kazuma just sprinted away. He just left his companions behind. Wait, what? At this rate, we'll lose him. Arg, I'm going after Kazuma. You guys tail the rest of his party. Hey, wait a minute, Dust. Don't push the troublesome ones onto us. I ignored Keith's words and hurried to catch up to Kazuma, who was running full pelt away from us. It was a little surprised by his actions, but thinking on it, I do understand where he's coming from. There's no way he can enjoy this trip if he's also having to take care of those three. He'd rather not have to take care of them, even after coming all the way out here. Those three will definitely cause some kind of problem. In chasing off after him, I've also separated myself from some problematic people. This would be the perfect chance to sightsee and keep an eye on him. It's time to enjoy being here in this city of Elroad. Part 5, Ooh. X5 The place was drowned in cheering voices. For some reason, Kazuma decided to visit a card game store and participate in the contest being held there with a deck of newly bought cards. It's a card game that I've never even seen before in Axel, but Kazuma seemed to be quite familiar with the rules. So familiar, in fact, that he brought his opponents to tears with all kinds of underhanded plays. Well, not that I'm in any position to care about him at the moment. How the hell did I lose? Hey, you, pass your turn and let me attack you again. Or I'll make it such that you'll never hold a card in that hand again. As I threatened my opponent, a clerk hurriedly came over to stop me. Dear customer, violence is prohibited. Sir, you can't do that. Listen to me. Everyone, hold this delinquent down. Bring it on. I'll attack each one of your faces head on. Your turn will never come up again for the rest of your lives. Come at me one at a time. The hell are you saying? You think you sound cool saying that? Everyone, get him. I charged at the first clerk, but there were too many of them, and it didn't take long for me to get overwhelmed and tossed out the back door. Grah, it stinks. Cough, cough. Damn it, you threw me into a garbage bag. I wanted to head back there and lodge a complaint or two, but as I rounded to the front door, I caught sight of Kazuma leaving the place, and hurriedly hid myself. Kazuma seemed to be in a good mood as he headed off elsewhere. I get the feeling that he'd be fine even if I leave him alone, but I can't actually do that, can I? Kazuma went to a restaurant to have lunch, and after he was done, he started wandering the streets seemingly without a destination in mind, before entering a gift shop that he passed by. There was no way I could head in without getting discovered, so I stayed outside. Just then, a soft boom emerged in the distance, accompanied with a tremor going through the ground. Did that explosion girl let loose again? See, I knew following Kazuma is the right choice. I faced the direction where I left my companions and gave them a salute. Source at CG Translations. I tailed Kazuma as he went sightseeing around the city till evening, when he headed back towards where they first parted ways this morning. The three men were already there when he arrived. Or at least, two of them were. The last one was nowhere to be found, and the other two didn't look so hot either. As for Kazuma's companions, Darkness's face seemed strangely glossy as she carried the explosion girl on her back, who had a refreshed expression on her face. As for the party priest, she was sitting on the ground with a sour expression. What did they do this time? Do you want to know? Grah. Don't surprise me like that. A voice suddenly called out to me from behind the wall I was hiding. Turning around, the one who tapped me on the shoulder was Keith. Standing behind him were a tired-looking Lin and lowly succubus. So, do you really want to know? Do you seriously want to know? Please don't stare at me with your empty eyes like that, they're scaring me. And no, it's fine. I can pretty much guess anyway. Yeah, of course. It was really horrible. I even started sympathizing with those guys. I've gained all new respect for Kazuma for taking care of them all this time. Kazuma's been keeping them in check all time, hasn't he? I'll give him a special service the next time he visits the store. Lin, Keith, and lowly succubus took a deep sigh at the same time. They must have seen something really horrible. On the far end of the alley, Kazuma and the other men seemed to be talking about something, before Kazuma and his party suddenly bolted for it. Just half would be fine. The other men shouted as they chased after him. After confirming that they were headed off in the direction of the inn, we too left and headed back to our own. They probably won't get up to anything else tonight, so I wanted to quickly fall asleep and get a good night's rest in preparation for tailing them tomorrow. Part 6. Right, they're deep asleep. After confirming that Keith and Taylor are fully asleep, I got up from my bed. Now that I've come to the city of Elroad that's famous for its casinos, there's absolutely no way I could just sleep without doing anything. That incident earlier today didn't count. On tiptoes, I snuck my way to the door, only to come face to face with lowly succubus who was coming out from the women's room at almost the same time. We nodded in acknowledgement and proceeded to exit the inn. Right, let's go hit up a few casinos and go wild. We are not doing that. You promised to come with me today, didn't you? And there goes my fun for the evening. Well, I had almost forgotten about it, but I did promise to help her out in exchange for those coupons. To scout this city for a new succubus shop, right? But you guys haven't decided on a location yet, right? In that case, wouldn't it be best to visit a few casinos to get a lay on the types of customers you can expect to get? That's true, but no betting today. If you don't help me out, those coupons will be void too. Yeah, leave it to me. I'm the kind of man who always keeps my promises. I struck a pose, thrust my thumb towards me, and winked. And lowly succubus's only response was a cold gaze. Then, please pay off your tab. Right, let's get going then. It'd be bad for me if she continued speaking, so I grabbed lowly succubus by the shoulders and moved her out towards the night streets. Source at CG Translations. Me, how could you break your promise so quickly? Just what is inside your skull? Did you sell your brain to the debt king or something? Oh, shut up. In the first place, there's no way I can talk to the customers without being a customer myself. The moment I entered a nearby casino, I bought some chips with the advance that Rain gave me and sat down at a table. Lowly succubus was grumbling about something behind me, but it's one of those things where it's best not to have it enter your head. The person seated opposite me is a middle-aged man covered in almost obscene amounts of fat. His neck, fingers and wrists are all covered in gold jewelry, so he must be fairly well off. He's the very picture of a rich and creepy old man. His eyes weren't on me, but were squarely focused on lowly succubus standing behind me. Is he a lullicon like those three whom I've had the bad luck of running into recently? It's really my lucky day today. You fufu. Say, young lady, why don't you ditch that man and go get some dinner with me? One glance is enough to tell that he's a good-for-nothing. No thank you. Lowly succubus hastily mumbled those words and hid behind me, seemingly frightened by the man's lewd gaze. Aren't you a succubus? Someone like him should be a piece of cake to you. Why are you getting scared like this? Just flash him your panties or something, and he should be under your control, right? I softly whispered, and she replied with a frown. Even I have people I can't deal well with. Sure, succubi enjoy perverse people, but when someone thrusts their perverse intentions onto you without warning, it's, how do I put it? It's creepy. It'd be a bit like, there's a difference between an author enjoying writing erotic stories, and the author themselves being a subject of an erotic story, right? It's something like that. I think I kinda get it. Well, all she really does is create dreams, after all. It's like a director enjoying directing a play but not being too fond of being on stage himself. Still, considering the kind of outfits she wears in the store, I didn't expect her to have such sensibilities at all. Oh my, I've been rejected. Oh well, let's continue on with the game. Oh, it seems like you've run out of chips already. Tisk. True, I no longer have any chips on hand. Most of the money I got from Rain have already been used up. However, I'm not finished yet. Give me more chips. Haven't you already used up your money? I don't have any money with me either, so don't look at me. I thought something like this might happen, so I got a bunch of money from the Adventurers Guild this afternoon. I took out a fairly large pouch filled with gold and exchanged it for chips with the dealer. How did you get this much money? You aren't involved in criminal activities here too, are you? Here too. X3 the others at the table and the nearby staff all reacted at the same time in response to lowly succubus's words. Hey, don't call in security on the sly. These are from the monsters that we ran into on the way here. Most of the really expensive parts have already been taken, but for some reason, there were still plenty of valuable parts left amongst the corpses. Doesn't that mean you're stealing the loot from Kazuma and his party? What are you talking about? I'm just taking care of the corpses that they left behind. Even if they don't thank me, there's no reason for them to blame me either. I don't know exactly why, but Kazuma's party didn't seem to have much interest in harvesting the monsters they defeated, so I'm just helping myself to what they discarded. As long as you have the money, I don't really mind. Now, shall we continue our game? Sure. Don't come crying to me after you lose everything including the shirt on your back. Source at CG Translations. Me, are you an idiot? Hey, are you an idiot? Lowly succubus screeched by my ear. After just a few minutes, the only thing left on me were my pants and the sword I always carry around. Damn it. How could I have lost every round? Isn't it strange? I'm surprised too. To think that I didn't lose a single round. I'm not trying to belittle you, but perhaps you should really consider quitting gambling. How the hell is my opponent feeling sorry for me? I thought he might have been cheating or something, but judging from his reaction, that doesn't seem likely. Still, I really can't win even a single hand. Has luck abandoned me? Luck, huh? Yeah, the guys at the guild were surprised at how low my luck score is when I first went to get my adventurer's card made. Though, there's a priest that showed up recently who has an even lower luck than me. Perhaps it's because of that, but it's an undeniable truth that I rarely win in games of luck. On the other hand, Kazuma seems to have unusually high luck. He's played several dozens of hands, but he's never lost. I've tried several methods to try and imitate Kazuma's successes, but none of them have worked out so far. There are some things men just cannot back down from. After losing this much, my next match will definitely be a win. This is how the world works. That's the thought process of a trashy human. You said the exact same thing just now and lost anyway, didn't you? I'll admit your resolve, but you've run out of chips, haven't you? Without gold nor chips, there's nothing you can do. It's just as the old man says. My wallet is completely empty, and there is nothing else I could offer as a collateral. The only thing I have left on me is this sword. However, this sword isn't something I can use as a wager on a bet. Sigh. Very well, I'll stop here. If you absolutely have to continue, you could listen to a request of mine. If you do so, I don't mind lending you any number of chips. This perverted old man is definitely going to push some impossible request onto me, and it's obvious what he'll ask from the smile on this face. Still, his gaze is squarely focused on lowly succubus, so, right, count me in. I immediately agreed. I haven't even explained what I want yet. Are you really okay with it? Anyway, in exchange for these chips, could you lend that cute companion of yours to me for a night? Yes, I understand that I'm asking for quite a huge deal, so, let's go with this. If you win our next game, you don't have to. Sure. X2 lowly succubus and the old man both seem stunned by my answer. Did they not hear what I said? Like I said, I'm fine with it, so let's do this already. WWH, what are you deciding on your own? I didn't agree to any of this. She shook me by the shoulders, but I simply looked casually at my opponent. Is that so? Perhaps you should take a little more time to think it over? She herself doesn't seem to be quite on board with it. Furthermore, she looks quite young. Is she really of age? I do enjoy having a drink with young women every so often, but even so, it's not too late for the two of you to talk things over before coming to a decision. You are the one who suggested it in the first place. Why the hell are you getting cold feet now? And where did that lecherous old man persona disappear off to? I didn't misinterpret his intentions and he's actually a decent person, did I? So all you want from her is to share a few drinks and see a good dream, right? Well, essentially, though the way you put it is, for some reason, I'm starting to feel a little guilty. Don't scratch your cheek like that. You're a grown man. It's just disgusting when a grown man does that. You should be more confident. No matter what it is, you lose the moment you get cold feet. Just believe that you are in the right and act accordingly. Now, come on, puff out your chest and let's do this again. Be more forceful in your words. Is that so? Okay. Fuhahahaha. Get on your knees if you desire money, you pauper. Go ahead and lick my boots clean too. Gahahaha. The old man let out a hearty laugh and glanced over in my direction. Don't just get carried away, you two. What about me? He just wants a few drinks, so it's fine, isn't it? He seems fairly rich, so if I manage to win, I might be able to get on the casino's VIP list. Plus, if you strut your stuff and make an impression here, won't your status be higher than the other succubi when you finally set up a branch here? I see. In that case, I'll do my best and cheer you on. Lowly succubus took off the villager's dress she was wearing with a flourish, revealing the succubi lingerie she had underneath. This girl has a strong desire to be recognized as a succubi, so she folds really easily when I play that angle up. Yuwua! X5 My surroundings erupted into cheers from the patrons who were keeping an eye on the game. Seemingly not satisfied with the reaction she got, lowly succubus smiled and started blowing kisses at a few of the closest patrons. Her bat-like wings are sticking out, but it seems like everyone thinks of it as just a costume. Hey, did you just say that you didn't like putting yourself in the spotlight? Did I say that? This girl. Don't tilt your head like that. It might be cute, but you're not fooling me. Well, never mind that. The old man I was facing off against seems to be getting excited by what he's seeing, so I doubt he'd be able to make rational decisions right now. I should be able to win easily in this case. Right, here's where the real show starts. How could this be? I lost every match again. You are cheating, right? You have some kind of trick up your sleeves, right? And no, it's just luck. Despite having decisively won, the old man seated opposite me was covered in cold sweat. Next to him was lowly succubus, pouring out a glass of wine with a smile. Please give it up, Dust-san. I'll be having a lavish meal with him, so feel free to head back first. Why, you little. Halfway through the game, it was revealed the old man is quite rich and owns a fair amount of land in the area. The moment she learnt that, lowly succubus switched over to his side and started cheering for him instead. What do you wish to eat? Go ahead and order whatever you want. Kia, that makes me so happy. Thank you for your treat. What obvious flattery. Hearing the two of them spout words laden with such obvious ulterior motives makes my skin crawl, though I suppose it might just be a side effect of me being clad in only my pants. I won't accept this. There's no way my luck is this bad. You must have pulled off some kind of trick. Yeah. There's something really strange with this place. They have to be up to something shady in the back. You're planning on tricking a beautiful priest like me and going hee hee. I'm sure you know what's going to happen if you can't pay up, right? And forcing me to do some erotic stuff. If you admit it now, repent, return my money back to me, and donate all your earnings to the Axis cult, I might forgive you. Someone was saying some really strange things in an even louder voice next to me. I turned around, and the source of that voice turned out to be a woman wearing a blue nun's habit. I think I recall seeing her before. She's that crazy priest who tried to interfere back when I bought that magic sword from that Mitsu whatever fellow. I don't know her name, nor do I want to, but I know for a fact that nothing good will come out of getting involved with her. Hey, what's a priest doing in a casino in the first place? The Axis cult does not prohibit gambling. Even if you restrain yourself and live a serious life, there's no telling what comes tomorrow. Thus, instead of living for the uncertain future, you should live for the concrete present. This is written in the Axis cult scriptures. It doesn't seem like she remembers me. I mean, I kind of agree with that philosophy, but is that really something to be enshrined as doctrine? I know full well that the Axis cult is a problematic organization from living in the same town as that party priest for so long, but they really are a rotten bunch. It's rumored that even the Demon King's army gives them a wide berth. Hey, who was the one who let such a problematic customer in? I told you plenty of times not to get involved with the Axis cult. I'm sorry. She seemed pretty sensible at first, so the dealers and staff started making a fuss upon learning that she's a member of the Axis cult. More importantly, you're a poor victim of this malicious casino too, right? Why don't we join forces and defeat this evil together? Let's take back the money we lost through these unfair wagers. Actually, I won't be able to afford tonight's rent if I don't get it back. You bet the money you were counting on to buy accommodations? Come on, at least show a little bit of restraint. Do you want a mirror so you can take a good look at yourself? Guess that's not too convincing when I'm clad in only my trousers. I'll let you off this time, so just return my money to me. Otherwise, the budget I forcibly raised to go search for Zesta-sama who just vanished one day would be entirely gone. Why you? I have no idea who this Zesta is, but what kind of person would be gambling while they are searching for someone? If you don't return me my money, I'll turn this casino into a meeting spot for the Axis cult from tomorrow. Everyone will be recruiting customers while picking up any coins that fall onto the floor. It'll be fun. That's horrible. Please, anything but that. A man who seemed to be the manager started sweating profusely in the face of the priest's threats. Should I join forces with her and stir things up too? They might be the fearsome Axis cult, but everyone else will be scared if they were on my side. To be honest, I really don't want to join forces with the Axis cult, but it should be fine if it's for just a short while. Yeah. This place will become a gathering spot for all kinds of weird folks. If you don't want that to happen, give us back our money, and do something about all my games in the future. You get what I mean, right? Yeah. You say some pretty good things. I'm not doing this for you or anything, but I don't mind giving you a special spot in the Axis cult if you join. Why are you suddenly blushing yet getting angry at the same time? And don't push that recruitment form onto me. Ha! I heard that adopting such an attitude would make any virgin fall for you. Who's a virgin? Just so you know, I'm the victor of 100 conquests back in Axel, to the point where I'm constantly lacking sleep due to how much attention I'm getting. Dus-san, don't you make use of our store because you're lonely? And you never have had any trouble sleeping either. This damn brat, she didn't have to say that. Just focus on keeping that old man happy. By the way, have we met before? I feel like I've seen that thuggish and sullen face somewhere before. If you were handsome, I would have remembered instantly. Who cares about that? Anyway, what do you guys think? Either give us our money back or have this place turned into a gathering spot for the Axis cult. Pick whichever option is more palatable. And you can join the cult while you're at it. Faced with our verbal barrage, the manager heaved a deep sigh, raised his hand, and forcefully jabbed it in our direction. Throw these two out of here. Before long, we were surrounded by black-suited men who wordlessly tossed us out into a small hill of trash bags. Trash bags again. I think I might have gotten used to the smell at this rate. How could you throw such a beautiful girl out into the trash? You'll definitely get your payback. A dirted beautiful priest sounds a little erotic, doesn't it? Ah, this lunchbox. It'd be a waste to leave it out here. The priest looked happily the leftovers she found amongst the trash. She's not going to eat it, is she? The Axis cult really is a crazy organization. There's nothing wrong with the smell. The lost delinquent wolf over there, if you are hungry, I don't mind selling you this lunchbox at a cheap price. Are you crazy? Who the hell would pay for that? You can have it to yourself. There's no way a clergyman like me could do that. Don't you have any common sense? A priest with common sense wouldn't try selling leftovers in the first place. This is why I hate the Axis cult. I felt this keenly when I made the trip over to the Axis cult's headquarters, but there really is nothing to be gained from getting involved with the Axis cult. I know that, but I still got swept up and got involved with her anyway. By the way, why are you holding on to that sword even though you've been almost stripped bare? You could have gotten quite a bit of money for that sword. Ah, I thought of a great idea. Why don't you leave that sword in my care? I swear on Aquasama that I'll definitely pay you back several times over. Of course not. Who the hell would trust a vow made upon your goddess? Besides, this is a treasure bestowed onto me by a very important person. There's no way I'll hand it over to a woman like you. I protectively covered up my sword to prevent the woman from snatching it. That's surely an exaggeration. That sword isn't your lover, so there's no need to hold it like that. No, don't tell me, you bend that way too? The Axis cult accepts homosexuality, familial love, and love between species, but love for objects is a little too out there, even for us. She seems to be misunderstanding something, but I can't be bothered to correct her right now. I've completely run out of money. Should I search for a fellow Axis cultist, or go harass the heiress church? Ah, what a dilemma. Stop thinking about that. More importantly, didn't you say something about coming to Elroad to search for someone? I don't remember his name, but I think I recall her saying something about that earlier. The priest folded her arms and tilted her head. After a brief moment, a spark of recognition emerged in her eyes and she brought her hands together. Of course I remember. I definitely didn't forget about it. I came here to search for the man at the top of the Axis cult, Zesta-sama. You totally forgot about it, didn't you? I leveled a questioning gaze at her, and she immediately looked away. She definitely forgot about him entirely and went off to play. I have no idea what you're talking about. I got information that Zesta-sama might be soliciting recruits from those who are at low spirits after losing a few games, so I started watching the casinos, that's all. Please stop recruiting people like that. What are you saying? Not many people join up if we use normal recruiting methods, so we have to use more innovative methods. Say, aren't you guys innovating in the wrong direction? What do you mean? You say some really strange things. There are some parts of the Axis cult mentality that I agree with, but I get the feeling that some part of me will die if I get recruited in such a situation. In that case, you should stop gambling and start searching for that Zester of yours or do some proper missionary work. To be honest, no one in the cult is particularly hurting without Zesta-sama. If anything, things actually run better without him. And if I want to recruit anyone, I would rather recruit someone handsome with a lot of money. That's why I'm frequently hanging around the casinos. I already knew this, but this girl really is useless. Anyway, I don't have time to talk with someone as poor as you. I need to find a rich person to recruit and replenish the money I lost today. The self-proclaimed beautiful priest, bits of dirt and trash still clinging onto her, disappeared into the streets. There's no way she'll be able to solicit anyone while still smelling of trash, but I didn't want to get involved with her any more than I already have, so I just let her go. I guess I'll head back. I'm tired and out of money, so, without anything else to, I headed back to the inn. Part 7. Hurry up and get up already. Kazuma's party is on the move. It's still morning, you know? Morning is when you wake up. Taylor was saying something ridiculous. I sat up in my bed and squinted at the early morning sunlight streaming through the window. Also by the window was Keith. They sure are up early. And they are dressed up pretty well too. Are they heading off somewhere? I narrowed my eyes in the same direction Keith was looking at, but the only thing I could make out were dots. As I headed over to the girls' room to wake them up, I ran into a bleary-eyed lowly succubus. Yeah, of course. It'd be stranger still for such things not to happen when you put a succubus and a perverted old man together. I lowered my voice to make sure that we couldn't be overheard and asked her about what happened yesterday. Did you have fun last night? Yes, he was really kind. It seems like he has a grandchild that looks similar to me, but he can't dote on them because they don't live close to each other, so he doted on me instead. I gave him a sweet dream where he played with his grandchild as a free service. Oh, well, that's good then. That was completely different from what I imagined. Wait, don't tell me you were worried about me. Of course not. Don't elbow me while smiling like that. Who would be worried about a succubus? I'm just a little concerned that something bad might have happened because it was partly my fault, that's all. Yes, stop fooling around and let's go. Lin, grumpy from having just been woken up, pulled on us, and together, we exited the inn. It seemed like Kazuma and his group were headed straight for the castle. They seemed to raise some kind of fuss at the gates of the castle, but they soon quietened down. It's been a few minutes since then. It doesn't seem like they are being chased away, but they aren't being welcomed in either. Taylor said with crossed arms. That's strange. It's only proper to invite the princess of a neighboring country inside when she has come to visit. It wouldn't be strange for her to treat being forced to wait outside like this as an insult. Or could it be that they are deliberately provoking her? But the relationship between Elroad and Belzerg should be fairly cordial, and there would be nothing to gain from doing something like that. A red-haired brat came out, and a whole bunch of other people too. He seems to be picking a fight. He just provoked Megumin and Aqua. What an idiot. Why would anyone want to give a reason to either of them? Keith chuckled as he described the events he managed to see through his farsight skill. Crimson demons can't take jokes. This doubly goes for that explosion girl. In addition to having a short fuse, her destructive power is second to none. Picking a fight with her is akin to suicide. And Aqua is an archpriest of the Axis cult. In other words, nothing good can come out of getting involved with her. Oh, now an important-looking man managed to calm everything down and led everyone inside. What should we do? I can't see through walls. Rain said it'd be fine to leave them if they entered the castle, right? So we have some free time now. Good work, everyone. Of course not. Lin grabbed me by the collar and dragged me back as I tried to leave. TSK, and here I thought I'd be able to have some fun. We're keeping watch here until they come out. Following Taylor's instructions, we set up camp nearby until Kazuma and company came back out. Even from this distance, it's quite obvious that Iris doesn't seem too happy about what happened inside. That girl came here to meet her betrothed, right? Did she have a fight with him or something? Who knows? All we are hired to do is watch over and protect them. Her family situation or marriage prospects are none of our business. In response to my flippant answer, my companions shot me a cold gaze. It's your business if you want to sympathize with her, but this isn't something that we can interfere in. I am a little worried, but Kazuma is with her, so it should be fine to leave it to him. He could have phrased it better, but it's just as Dust said. Let's continue tailing them. The party grudgingly accepted Taylor's words and moved out after Kazuma. In the end, nothing particularly noteworthy happened today, and we returned to the inn without any incidents. Part 8. On the next day, only Kazuma and Iris went to visit the castle. The other three were left to their own devices. Lowly Succubus went out with the rich old man to tour the city, so she wasn't with us today either. Right, we don't have much time, so let's get this over with. Whoever wins in this game of rock paper scissors gets to decide who to follow. Everyone's fine with that, right? Everyone nodded in response. And thus, the game to decide the fate of this entire day began. Yes, that means I'll go with Kazuma for today. Taylor, the first one to win, said with a smile. Damn it, the easiest one has been taken right off the bat. That leaves the other three. Aren't they all duds? Dust, even amongst those three, there are ones that are better than others. I have a really bad feeling about what will happen if I don't win the next round. Keith and Lynn seemed more serious than I've ever seen them before. True, out of those three, one of them is a little strange, but at least has a shred of common sense. Right, let's do this. Rock, paper, scissors. Mine was paper. Keith's also brought out paper, and Lynn brought out scissors. Yes. I'll be taking darkness, then. Damn it. Now the best of the worst has been taken too. Great, now the only ones left are the explosion girl and the party priest. It feels like a rock and a hard place. Lynn jumped up in joy, while Keith and me grew sullen. Darkness is reckless and an unabashed pervert, but outside the battlefield, she's fairly sensible. As long as something doesn't trigger her masochism, she's a pretty normal person. It feels like it doesn't really matter who wins or loses this match. What a coincidence, Keith. I feel the same way, but there is still a slight difference between one who creates one big problem and one who creates a lot of little problems in succession. So it's like a choice between taking one big hit or swallowing a poison that does minor damage over a long time. To be honest, neither of them appeal to me much. And the result of my match with Keith is the explosion girl, huh? The only one left was the explosion girl. Incidentally, even though Keith won, he didn't seem particularly happy either. Where is she even heading to? The explosion girl seemed to have a destination in mind, and walked down the streets of the city without paying the slightest attentions to any of the various casinos or street vendors lining the side of it. After exiting the city and walking for quite some distance, she came to a deserted plain rich in greenery without a single man-made building visible. There's a river flowing nearby, but I know she's not the kind of person who would travel all the way out here just to frolic in its waters. That Kazuma, he really shouldn't be leaving such a problem child alone without supervision. You just don't get it. Lolas are cuter if they have a wild side to them. She seems quite energetic today too. Yuwa. I was surprised to hear someone suddenly whisper by my ear, and hastily turned around to find that priest I met the other day. She had a dangerous look in her eyes and was drooling. Where did you come from? I'll be wherever Megumin-san goes. I've been waiting for a chance to be with her alone ever since I saw her this morning. Now, there isn't anyone else around here, so it'll be fine if I greet her and grope her at the same time, right? Hold on a minute. I grabbed the hand of the priest as she started walking in the direction of Megumin. You're hitting on me in this situation? I don't hate forceful people, but I'm not in the mood for it right now. Besides, I have no interest in anyone who is neither handsome nor rich. Who the hell would do something that ridiculous? I'm tailing her right now, so if you went out there, I'd be exposed immediately. You're tailing a young girl. Are you a pervert? Have you ever considered looking into a mirror? Anyway, judging from what you said just now, you're familiar with the explosion girl, right? We are close enough to get in the bath. Together. I suppose it's not an exaggeration to say that we are sisters connected in both body and soul. She seemed really confident when she said that, but everything about her sounds fishy. I mean, in the first place, there's no one in this world that would take what an Axis cultist says at face value. I don't really know anything about sisters, but you two know each other, huh? Say, would you mind waiting a little longer before you greet her? Why? I want to hug her right now and replenish my stocks of lolinium. I always knew she was dangerous, but I never expected her to be this far gone. Personally, I don't really care to pry too much into who the explosion girl associates with, but it'd be really bad if our presence is made known to Kazuma. I'll just have to think of an excuse to stop her. If you really must go, I won't stop you, but are you really okay with that? Where do you think she is right now? She's alone by a river. You know what I mean, right? Don't tell me she's going to relieve. She's going to play in the water. I forcibly interrupted before she could say something even more perverted. That does change things. Okay, I'll swallow my sadness and bear with it. I really don't think this is worth gritting your teeth and clenching your fist over, but as long as she stays here, I don't really care. As the two of us continued to observe the explosion girl, she proceeded to move further up the river. Not too long after, we sighted a small fence in the far distance. Oh, there's a sign. Let's see. Onion Duck Ranch ahead, it says. Come to think of it, I think I heard that this place is one of the famous sightseeing spots in the city. Say, is she fighting with the ranchers? If something's happened, we should go out immediately. While being wary of the priest next to me, I focused my eyes on what was going on. The explosion girl was met by what appeared to be ranch workers when she tried to approach. I thought that we should move closer in order to make out what they are saying, but before I could move, the screams of the various ranch workers made their way over to me. She came here again. Everyone, hold her down. Someone get the rope. And gag her too. What are you doing? Stop. They seem to be trying to restrain her, but she's putting up a pretty decent fight too. She might look like a kid, but she's really strong. Ow. Stop struggling. Don't think of her as a child. Treat her like you would a blood-lusted beast. A young girl being surrounded by a bunch of grown men. Normally, seeing such a sight would make one think to help the girl, but, knowing her personality, There's got to be a reason why they are reacting like this. What are you doing to my Megumin? Hey, let go. I grabbed the hem of the priest's robes to prevent her from jumping out there. Don't jump in now. If you want to save her, wouldn't waiting for her to be in a proper tough spot before jumping in make you look cooler? The beautiful priest who appears whenever you're in danger. That does have a pretty good ring to it. I like the way you think. I wanted to say something about a priest that acts only to serve her own selfish interests, but she's an Axis cultist. By this point, there's really not much I can say to her. Still, why is the explosion girl getting treated like this? If I had known this would happen, I would have asked Keith for more details about what she did yesterday. Even if I wanted to save her, I couldn't without revealing that we're here. Let's observe for a little while more before doing anything. We moved closer until we are able to clearly hear everything they were saying. I can't believe you would dare show your face here today too, after killing the onion ducks that we put our heart and soul into raising. It's only common sense to unleash an explosion on a herd of onion ducks if you see them. I've never heard of such a ridiculous idea before. I see, so that earthquake and boom I heard yesterday was the explosion girl unleashing her spell on this ranch, huh? Onion ducks taste good and are rich in experience points, so they are indeed the best sort of prey for an adventurer, but still, one wouldn't normally attack onion ducks that others are raising. Are these onion ducks not raised just so that they could be defeated? In that case, rather than being defeated by nameless nobles or adventurers, to meet their end at the hands of the wielder of explosion magic, the great mage Megumin is something to be celebrated. They are definitely crying in the other world. The explosion girl flared her cape and proudly boasted even though she was in the wrong. Well, I guess she wouldn't change her personality just because she came to another city. Right, I've decided, there's no need to bail her out. No matter where you are coming from, the ranch workers did nothing wrong. Just leave her be. If you are asking for compensation, that man should have paid up already. Ah yeah, that man was sniffling when he forked over the cash. So that guy who tried to hit on her ended up with the bill, huh? Those guys sure have it tough. Please just go home already. We don't want to get involved with you any further. Humph, are you sure you should be saying that? I got some pocket money from darkness today, so I have enough to pay for a few onion ducks. You're still unsatisfied even after blowing away so many ducks yesterday. You know what, never mind, just do as you wish. Once you are done, never come back here again. After being reluctantly released by the ranch workers, the explosion girl happily started chasing after the surviving onion ducks. Somebody go get Kazuma. Megumin-san looks like she's having fun. Fufu, maybe I should join in too. You'll just make things more complicated, so don't. Also, weren't you looking for someone? Ah, but, rather than searching for Zesta-sama, don't you think it's more important to burn Megumin-san's frolicking form into my brain? I don't think so at all. I'll tell you the inn that she's staying at, so if you want to pay her a visit, please do it later. That blue-haired priest from the Axis cult is also staying there. If she were to make contact with her now, it would make it hard for me to continue tailing Kazuma's party, so I made such a suggestion to her. When I did so, her eyes lit up in response. Aquasama is here too. Yeah, she is. So you do know her after all. Well, there aren't that many people in the Axis cult. That's a different story. I'll go look for Zesta-sama. She immediately gave up on the explosion girl and vanished somewhere. I really don't get what goes through the head of an Axis cultist. Part 9. By the time the explosion girl was satisfied with taking out the remaining onion ducks and headed back to the inn, Kazuma and the others were already there waiting for her. According to Taylor, Darkness was wandering around town asking about something, while the party priest blew all her money away at a casino. They didn't seem to be up to anything at night, so we managed to rest up too. After that, Kazuma and Iris made regular trips to the castle, leaving the other three to their own devices. Nothing of particular note happened since then, and thus, the days passed. Though occasionally, cheers and screams and roars could be heard coming from the castle. And, just as I was getting used to this hassle-free, tourist-like life, on a day much like the few that preceded it, Kazuma and Iris returned back to the inn. Kazuma seems to be in a really foul mood. I think he's saying something like, I'll never forgive him. And the little lady seems quite depressed. Even when Kazuma is talking to her, she still seems to be a million miles away. Keith, who's in charge of observing Kazuma for today, said as he stumbled through the door. Say, is she really just here to meet her fiancé? Doesn't this seem suspicious to you? That's what our client said, so we don't have a choice but to trust her, do we? Even if there's something deeper to this, it's not like we can do anything about it. More importantly, what should we do after this? Our job is to keep an eye on Kazuma and his team and protect Iris. Even if this incident turns out to be vital to the kingdom of Belzerg, there's no reason for us to interfere. There's not much a mere adventurer can do anyways. Keeping an eye on the princess at night is the extent of what we can do. Besides, she seems like she already has someone in her heart, so all I can do is leave things in the hands of my good friend. Kazuma occasionally does something ridiculous, so to be honest, I'm a little worried about him. He normally acts pretty sensible, but when he wants to do something, he really doesn't hold back. I can see why Taylor and Lin would be worried. He did destroy the walls of Axel and blew up the mansion of a noble in the past. Not to mention that stunt he pulled stealing Darkness away just as she was about to be married to Aldrip. It wouldn't be surprising if he pulled off something equally amazing here. Actually, he has already done some pretty amazing things. Why don't we have someone sneak into the other inn and snoop around for some information? In that case, how about I go? I haven't thanked you guys for bringing me all the way here, after all. My magic might not be of much use in combat, but I think it'll be of great use in this case. I wanted to leave everything to lowly succubus who enthusiastically volunteered herself, but for some reason, I ended up going with her. Why do I have to sneak in here too? That's because you've been sneaking off to the casinos while you were supposed to be on watch duty these past few nights. And you even used up the funds we were planning to cover our return trip. I grumbled while standing in the shadow of the expensive-looking inn that Kazuma and his crew were staying at, and lowly succubus exasperatedly said, I couldn't help it. It's the casino's fault for being there. Don't you have any self-control at all? Not at all. Just do what you want, and skeeve on what you don't want. That's how a man lives his life. Apologize to all the men in the world. Ignoring lowly succubus who's raising a fuss, I looked up towards the building. It definitely looks several times more opulent than the inn that we are staying at. They tell me to sneak inside, but this doesn't seem like it'd be an easy place to get into unnoticed. Now, what should I do? Ah, I know, let's set a fire somewhere further away and sneak in while they are distracted. I'll leave that to you. No, I am not doing that. I left the most important part of the operation to her. But the person in question raised her fist and angrily objected. I already have something in mind, so leave it to me. This will get us inside in a snap, so just follow me. Saying that, she confidently walked up to the front door and entered. Hey, they'll throw you out. Before the echoes from my voice even faded, a bunch of men that seemed to be acting as security for the inn appeared in front of us. See, I told you. Good evening. But lowly succubus simply greeted them with a cheery smile on her face. Just what is she thinking? Oh, there you are. Did you go out to play in the city today too? The walls behind those men parted, revealing the old man that I got into a fierce battle with back in the casino the other day. Was he staying here too? Yeah, I was. I brought my friend Dust-san together with me today. Is that okay? No, I don't mind. I'll welcome any friend of yours, Lolisa. Oh, that guy who was at the casino, huh? This old man doesn't think highly about hanging out with delinquents. Lolisa-chan, you should learn to choose your friends better. Don't look at me with such a distasteful gaze. Yes, I'll keep that in mind. Have you been sleeping well lately? Yeah, thanks to you. Every time I talk with you, I always end up having a good dream, so I've been sleeping like a baby lately. Thank you for your concern. The way he's smiling and his gentle tone makes him seem just like a grandpa interacting with his granddaughter. When did they get this close? Dust-san was whining about wanting to see the insides of such a big mansion up close, so do you think you can let him take a tour? Lowly succubus placed a finger on her cheek and asked in an exceedingly cute voice. I really want to say something, but it'll jeopardize my job, so I simply kept silent. Of course. I'll have a talk with the owner of this inn, so feel free to poke around. I'll give you some pocket money too. Thanks, uncle. I love you. The old man's face practically melted when lowly succubus hugged him. Even as she is, she's still a succubus. I'm honestly quite impressed by how easily she's able to wrap men around her finger. Now that we are given leave to freely explore the place, we naturally wandered over to where Kazuma's room was and placed our ears against the door. They seemed to be having a fairly loud argument, so we had no issues making out their words from the door. So, that's why I want to show that shitty brat what for. Well said, Kazuma. The only thing Elroad is good for is earning money, so where do they get off looking down on Belzerk? I'll beat that kid to death for exposing Iris-sama so such humiliation. That's Kazuma and Darkness. They don't sound very pleased. I think I managed to piece together most of what's happening by listening at the door. Iris was originally engaged with the first prince of Elroad, Levi, but he broke up the engagement on his end. On top of that, he was also planning on stopping the financial aid that Elroad was providing to Belzerk. And he also made comments mocking Iris, which really pissed Kazuma off. The Chancellor was saying something about them being low on funds, but from what I can see in the city, they certainly don't seem to be a country that's going through any sort of financial hardship. There seems to be something deeper going on in the background, but that doesn't really have anything to do with us. From what they are saying, Alisan's true name is actually Iris, and they are speaking of her as thought she is royalty, but there's no way that can be the case, right? You aren't mistaken at all. Keep this between us, alright? I hastily covered lowly succubus's mouth before she could let out a squeak. We really don't want to get involved with international matters, so don't tell anyone else about this, alright? If things go really wrong, our heads might roll. She nodded repeatedly, so I judged that it was fine to release her. Dust-san, did you know? You're not about to blackmail them to pay you money to keep that secret, are you? Stop fearfully edging away from me. I'm not foolish enough to make an enemy out of the kingdom. I learnt about this when I got involved with her a while back. Well, I'm pretending like I don't know. You probably should too. It's for the best. Yeah, of course. I never wanted to know this. Now then, what should I do? These guys get up to stupid stuff on an almost daily basis, but normally, Kazuma is there to stop them from going too far. But this time, Kazuma himself is on board with it, which makes things especially dangerous. Right, let's go back to where the others are. We quickly left the inn and met up with my companions, where I quickly conveyed the important points of what they were up to. So Kazuma and his party are about to lose it because the little lady's fiancé looked down on her, right? It's not like I don't get where they are coming from, but even so, isn't this going too far? They are planning to unleash an explosion at midnight so Kazuma can make use of that distraction to sneak in and threaten the prince? That's absolutely a crime, isn't it? We really should stop them, but if they learn that we are here, we would be going against the requirements of the quest. My companions hurriedly discussed amongst each other. Still, something has been bothering me for a while. Yeah, I'm worried after hearing about their plan, but it's not quite the same thing. If we were back at Axel, casting explosion at midnight would just make everyone a little angry. It finally clicked after hearing what lowly succubus grumbled under her breath. Oh yeah, of course. This is Elroad. It'll probably be fine. My companions shot me some extremely doubtful gazes as I said that. Source at CG Translations, me from our vantage point near the gates. Keith used his farsight skill to observe Kazuma and his party at a distance as they headed outside the city. Those guys just moved to the top of a small hill. Hey, are they really going to do this? Megumin's starting to chant. Following Keith's gaze, I spotted a strange shimmering light shining in the dark. That's the light of explosion magic. Cover your ears. Just as I managed to move my hands up, a loud boom resonated in the distance, followed by a shockwave that buffeted both us and the walls of the city. What was that? Just as the soldiers by the gates started milling around in a panic, I adopted a frantic voice and demeanor and called out to them. Help me. There's some crazy people throwing some really powerful magic around just beyond that hill. What? Where exactly? Tell me more details. I directed the soldiers towards where Kazuma and his party were. As I looked out over their backs, for some reason, Kazuma's party came charging back towards the city, followed by a large horde of undead creatures. See, there's nothing to worry about. I turned towards my companion who were watching everything unfold with stony expressions and said, this isn't Axel. If you unleash an explosion at night, of course the guards would sally out. Though I don't know why that horde of undead is chasing them. Anyway, if they get thrown into jail, they won't be able to get up to any stupid things, so let's go back and get some sleep. My companions soon fell asleep, mentally drained by the chaotic night that just unfolded. Once they did, I snuck out from my room. I've been staying put since I didn't have any money on me, but it's fine to go out for some fun today, right? In Axel, most stores would close once the sun goes down, but that's not the case in Elroad. The city of casinos never sleeps. Even though it was the middle of the night, the streets still shimmered with the lights of 1,000 buildings. I've got plenty of funds here too. In my hands was a small bag of gold coins. The old man that was so smitten with lowly succubus gave them to me, asking me to pass it on to Lolisa. If I use this as seed money and increase it by several times before passing it on, lowly succubus wouldn't complain. Well, I kinda feel sorry for Kazuma and the others who got thrown in jail, but I'm going to have some fun now. I can't go back to the casino I used before, so how about here? If I win big, I'll go secure us some better accommodations after giving lowly succubus what I owed her. The floor beneath me is made out of cold stones. In front of me lay a row of rusty iron bars. The only things in this musty-smelling room is a chain that connects to the wall and a dirty toilet. I stared blankly at the lights shining from beyond the bars as I tried to clear the pounding from my head. What the hell is this? Right now, I'm in a jail cell. Chapter 3, a breakout for that boss part. When this room was larger than the ones I've gotten used to back in Axel. However, because of the low ceiling and the lack of any windows, it felt more oppressive. Why am I in jail? By this point in time, being stuck in a cell doesn't faze me at all, but the thing is that I just don't remember why I'm here. If I recall, I got drunk, played a few games in the casino, and lost. Then I noticed the dealer was a beautiful woman and started complaining and hitting on her. Then the guards came in shouting something about, this is one of the guys we were warned about. But that's all I can remember. I have no idea how I got here. Isn't that precisely why? A man's voice responded when I started speaking out loud. That voice came from cell directly opposite mine. It was dark, so I couldn't see very well, but I could make out the silhouette of someone if I squinted. So there was someone else here? Did you run amok in the casino too? No, I was merely enlightening those who lost at the casinos to the wonders of life. If you are worried about something, just simply enjoy life. Stop holding yourself back and let yourself be swept away by your true desires. With that, I encouraged them to go for another shot. I feel like I've heard this line somewhere before. I was merely preaching about the doctrines, but the families of those who understood my words started flooding the city with complaints about me. My husband became an idiot. He lost everything in gambling and started saying some really strange things, and the like. All utterly baseless, of course. It feels pretty grounded to me. They most likely were just trying to pick a fight after seeing how respected I am by those who listened. I'm convinced after hearing his baselessly confident voice. I'm convinced. This guy is definitely. You're from the Axis cult, aren't you? Oh, I'm glad you can tell. You must have a good eye for people. Anyone would be able to tell that. How long have you spent in here? I would say it has been around 2 weeks or so. Still, it's really great that you're here. The guard only ever shows up when it's time for dinner, and he never says much, so I've had nothing but free time on my hands. Neglect play is nice on occasion, but I'm more of a fan of the forward type. Female teachers are highly rated too. Nobody asked about your preferred type. Still, this man has been here for 2 weeks? I didn't expect that. I heard in town that there aren't that many criminals here, so the jail has become a facility for holding on to drunks and the penniless. That's why I went overboard back then. Damn it, they really got me this time. I've heard the same thing, but apparently, this isn't the place they use for petty offenders, but a special cell where they place frequent troublemakers. It seems like the Prime Minister had this place built in secret. I see. It wouldn't be unusual for there to be people who start rampaging after losing their money, or those who come here seeking to prey on the rich and guileless. Elroad is well known for its riches, after all. There are plenty of people out there who'd seek to take advantage of it. Still, why are they treating me like some kind of heinous criminal? I just got drunk and hit on a girl. In Axel, they would just throw me into the cells for a day or two and give me a lecture. Indeed. There's a critical lack of compassion in this city. What a sad state of affairs. I must spread the teachings of the Axis cult in the city and get everyone to live free and happy lives. Don't do that. We don't need another city like Alkenrisha. I really suffered when I visited the city that the Axis cult are using as their headquarters, Alkenrisha. That city would drive you crazy just by being there long enough. Even if you paid me, I would never go back there again. Oh, you're familiar with Alkenrisha? You know, I'm the guy at the top of the Axis cult that makes its base there. I'm Zesta. Pleasure to meet you. Saying that, the man walked up to the iron bars, revealing the Axis cult robes that he was wearing. So this guy really is the boss of that troublemaking group? He looks just like a boring old man to me, but something feels off. I really doubt that his entire behavior so far has been just an act, but how do I put it? No, I'm thinking too much. I'm probably just imagining it. You're Zesta? There was a female priest looking for you, you know? Is that so? That must be Cecily-san, or perhaps Tristan-san. Still, it would seem that my following has been quite worried about me after I vanished. Perhaps being touched, he clasped his hands together and offered a prayer to the heavens. I think I'll keep how she gave up on searching for him and lost herself in the casinos to myself. Worried, huh? It'd be one thing if I was just here for a day, but those guys will surely get up in arms if I were to be gone for a while. Sigh, when I make it back, Taylor and Lynn will definitely talk my ear off. My people at the church are worried about me, so perhaps it's time I considered breaking out of here. I'm starting to get bored of the place anyways. That said, I have nothing on me right now that would help me get out of a cell. I would like to confirm the situation with the guards, but the only person visible to me right now is this robe-wearing priest. Seems like there's nothing I can do at the moment. Just as I thought that, the click-clack of heels could be heard making its way down the corridor. Are you the one who was carried here last night? The one who appeared was a sharp-eyed woman who wore her red hair in a ponytail. She's certainly pretty, but she had that same aura as that prosecutor I ran into back in Axel in the past. Normally, you would have been thrown into a normal cell, but there were particularly many people who got drunk or caused trouble yesterday, so you were moved here instead. Is she talking about Kazuma's crew? Oh, so that's why. You really scared me for a moment there. So, you'll be releasing me soon, right? Well, we'll be questioning you, but as long as nothing suspicious pops up, that'll be fine. This is a magic item that detects lies. We'll be asking you questions, so please answer honestly. The woman placed a bell on the old beat-up-looking desk at the center of the corridor. That's the same annoying item that I've run into several times in the past. It rings whenever a lie is told in its presence, so it's really annoying. If she had such an item on her, then she must be a prosecutor like Senna. Getting interrogated by such a beauty is kind of a reward on its own. Zesta was saying something. The prosecutor glanced at him, but said nothing, though her face did scrunch up for a moment. Sure, go ahead. I have nothing to hide, after all. Ring. I haven't even asked anything yet. This damned magic item. The prosecutor stared at me. Ahem. Let's start again. What's your name? Dust. The bell on the item trembled for a moment, but soon stilled. Ha. That's a strange reaction. Is it a malfunction? This is why I hate this item. Couldn't you ask other questions to see if it's really broken? I suppose so. Now then, you are the one who performed perverted and violent actions in that casino last night. That is correct, yes. Hey now, all I did was get up to some light skinship with that lady. It's not uncommon to touch someone's chest or hands by accident after having a few drinks. Have you never brushed up against someone else's hand by accident? Does that include repeatedly trying to lay hands on her? Wasn't it just a coincidence? According to the complaints from the victim, you touched her chest and but several times. No comment. Damn it, why are all prosecutors such sticklers for details? Anyway, you're making a big deal about the violence. I just shoved them once or twice with my fist. In Axel, they would just beat each other up and throw out the loser. The prosecutor glanced at the bell, but it remained silent. In Alkenrisha, the police would just let you off with a lecture. It's certainly nothing worth blowing up over. The prosecutor once again turned towards the bell after hearing Zesta's words, but it still remained silent. Is the town you come from considered a lawless area? The other people who we arrested told us the same thing about Axel just a short while ago. That's rude. Law and order is properly enforced back there. Even when an adventurer breaks down the walls or blows up the mansion of a noble, they would be properly brought in and charged. An adventurer? Wasn't that the work of the Demon King's army? The prosecutor nervously looked towards the bell, but, once again, it remained resolutely silent. It's the truth, after all. Just what are the adventurers of Axel? Well, it had similar strange results shortly earlier, so maybe it might really be broken. Anyway, Dust-san, was it? You only committed some minor crimes, so we'll be moving you to a regular cell now. Of course. I haven't the slightest why you would keep me here. Isn't that great, Dust-san? By the way, how long do you intend to keep me here? I too was brought here because of some kind of mistake, so if you want to apologize, now is your only chance. If you admit your mistake, then step on me while apologizing like it's Sundra. Zesta crawled on the ground as he made that request of the prosecutor. The prosecutor herself hurriedly rushed to cover her skirt before taking a few steps back. Why you've been put here under the direct order of Ragcraft-sama himself. I don't know the details, but just what did you do? Well, you see, you don't have the clearance for that information. As Zesta puffed his chest out and started to brag about what happened, a sharp-dressed man suddenly interrupted him. Where did he come from? Ragcraft-sama. The prosecutor snapped to attention and gave that man a salute. So this is the much-talked-about Prime Minister. From what I've heard at the casino, the king of the country is a fool, but the Prime Minister is fairly skilled. The one who's really in charge isn't the king, but the Prime Minister. For such a man to pay a visit, personally. Just what did Zesta do? I would like to have some words with this person, so please leave us. Yes, of course. My apologies. With another quick salute, the prosecutor left down the corridor. After confirming that the door has been closed, Ragcraft turned back to face Zesta. According to the reports, you are the head of the Axis cult and a high-level archpriest. Of all things, it had to be the Axis cult. Sigh. I couldn't help but sympathize with him when he let out such a deep sigh. Nothing good ever comes out of meeting the Axis cult. Do you remember when we met while I was inspecting the casinos? Of course. I was soliciting followers like usual, when you came up to me and made some impossible requests of me. I just asked you to stop soliciting inside the casino. It's a simple matter. Leaving that aside, I won't let you say that you forgot what you told me after that. They were having their own conversation while completely ignoring me, but I'm a little interested in where this is headed, so I kept quiet. Well, now, did I happen to say anything that got on your nerves? All I recall is proposing that the Axis cult be made the state religion of Elrode. That wouldn't happen even if the heavens were to descend to earth, but never mind that. Do you really not recall what you said after that? You're not playing dumb, are you? So he's just holding a grudge over some insult he made. Sigh, it seems like all nobles really are such petty individuals. Well, apart from darkness. She'll probably be more happy if you insult her. Ah, now that I think about it, I did say, all the money lost in this place is going to the Demon King's army, and you're a part of the Demon King's army, didn't I? So you do remember. The people present merely took it as the ramblings of an Axis cultist, so nothing came off it, but I suppose I should be praising you. To think that the leader of the Axis cult could deduce my true identity. Did he just say something weird? My true identity. What the hell is this Ragcraft guy saying? True identity. I'm simply blaming the Demon King for any lost games in a casino. Though, this seems quite interesting, so let's keep going with it. And now what is this seedy old man muttering? I don't think Ragcraft heard the words that he was muttering under his breath, but I definitely heard them loud and clear. Thank you for your praise. It would seem that our teachings are not mistaken after all. It's a core doctrine of the Axis cult that any misfortune can be blamed squarely upon the shoulders of the Demon King. It's because you people keep saying that bad rumors of the Demon King continue to spread. The Demon King isn't that sort of person at all. Ragcraft seems to think quite highly of the Demon King. It's almost as if he has some personal connection to him. Combined with those words he said earlier. Don't tell me, this is actually a conspiracy? No, wait, hold on, I have a really bad feeling about this. If my deductions are right, hearing anything further would be really dangerous. Oh my, is it really okay for someone in your position to make such a statement? It's almost as if you really are a member of the Demon King's army. Zesta has been smiling all this while, but this time, his smile didn't reach his eyes. It seems like there's been some kind of misunderstanding, but the Axis cult really are a troublesome bunch. Very well, allow me to enlighten you. You'll be spending the rest of your life in this cell, after all. The truth is, hey, wait a minute, don't say anything more. I'm the leader of the Demon King's information department, the doppelganger Ragcraft. I hurried to cover my ears, but I didn't make it in time. I just learned something really dangerous. I never asked for this. I knew it, my eyes weren't mistaken. Everything up till now has been an act to draw that line out of you. I knew you smelt of demons. He was striking a cool pose and pointing triumphantly at him, but that's definitely a lie. Just looking at that self-satisfied face of yours makes it completely obvious. You just wanted to say that. Not bad, archpriest of the Axis cult. It doesn't seem like that skull of yours is completely stuffed with cotton. Sadly, I'll have to leave you there for now. A more pressing problem has arisen that I have to deal with. But sit tight, I'll come back to deal with you once that has been taken care of. After saying that, Zesta turned around, and, right in his path was me, so of course our eyes met. His eyes widened in shock, and I waved and smiled as a greeting. Crap, there was someone else being held here? Well, you just have bad luck, it seems. There's no way I can let you go free after hearing all of that. After hearing such words, my cheerful smile turned into a wry one. And seeing that, Zesta gently smiled at me and said, "Don't let it get to you. Stop fucking with me. It's your own careless mistake, so why are you making me pay for it? I'm not involved in this at all. Let me out." "Well, I'm terribly sorry that you found out about my true identity, but, farewell," was all Ragcraft said before he beat a swift retreat. "Don't run away. Klutzes aren't cute at all when it's a guy. Hey, come back here." My voice echoed off the walls of the empty corridor. "Are you serious? I didn't even want to know this in the first place, and you're really going to drag me in because you couldn't stop yourself from monologuing? I really didn't expect to uncover such a secret just by playing along with what he's saying. This must be the guidance of the great Aquasama. She just seems like a goddess of misfortune to me. What should we do? To think that the Prime Minister of Elrode is actually a member of the Demon King's army. I didn't want to know this, but now that I do, I can't just pretend I never heard it. I took a few deep breaths to calm myself down. Well, it wouldn't do any good to panic. After calming down, the first thing that came to mind was the safety of Kazuma and his party. If the supposed fiancé of Princess Iris really is someone under the control of the Demon King's army, it'd be a really dire situation indeed. That more pressing problem that Ragcraft mentioned is definitely referring to Princess Iris. I'm not exactly in a good spot either, but Kazuma is in an even deeper trouble. I really should do something, but what? You seem to be troubled. Would you care to share your thoughts? I'm used to listening to confessions and guiding others onto the path of repentance. And whose fault do you think it is? The one who should be repenting is you. Zesta was looking at me through the iron bars with sparkling eyes. He seems to be enjoying this situation, but I must be imagining it. You are acting as though this doesn't concern you, but your position is even worse than mine, you know? At this rate, you'll definitely be killed. If I die, I won't be able to continue my mission of spreading the Axis faith. I still haven't had my fill of life yet, so this wouldn't do. Plus, there's no way I can let a demon go free. Say, this just leaves us one course of action. That's right, it's time to stage a jailbreak. You say that like it's a simple matter. But I suppose that's the only thing we can do. If we can prove that Ragcraft is involved with Demon King, we'll most likely be forgiven for breaking out of jail. It's a chance worth betting on. The two of us started examining every nook and corner of our respective cells. There aren't any windows, and the only thing in the cell is a toilet. The iron bars are rusty, but they still seem pretty tough. No matter how much I pull or push on it, they didn't budge an inch. You know, there's an old trick where you piss or sweat on the iron bars in order to get them to rust and weaken. Ideally, I'd get a girl to do it, but do you prefer sweat or piss? Both methods will take way too long. And stop telling me about your fetishes. In the first place, we don't have the time to fool around. If I don't get word to Kazuma soon, their lives would be at risk. Did you just mention Kazuma-sama just now? Zesta pressed his face up to the iron bars and asked with a serious expression. The carefree demeanor that he was sporting up till now was nowhere to be found. Why yeah, do you know my friend, Kazuma? I'm very familiar with that name. More importantly, did anyone accompany him here? There's Alice, and then there's just his usual party. The explosion girl, the masochistic crusader, and the party priest. Is that so? If Aquasama is involved in this matter, then it seems that I must treat this matter seriously. The priest placed his hands together and started muttering something incomprehensible while sporting a serious look that doesn't suit him at all. I can never tell what this man is thinking, so it's best not to expect too much from him. I started systematically tapping on the walls in hopes of finding a weak spot to break through, but it turned out to be extremely boring work. So, what are you doing in Elroad in the first place? Just to spread the Axis faith. To ease my boredom, I started a conversation with Zesta, who was crouched on the floor and doing something I can't make out right now. Well, that's part of it. You see, the Axis cult has someone that we are secretly observing, watching over, protecting from the shadows. We received information that that person would be heading to Elroad, and I volunteered to head out here because I thought I could play all I want at the casinos that this country is so famous for. It's a little hypocritical coming from me, but you really are true to your desires. That's what the Axis faith is. Hearing him proudly say that, I was momentarily attracted to the Axis cult. Still, who is this person that the Axis cult is secretly keeping watch over? For such a haphazard organization to be worried about them, they must be either a really strange or really pitiful person. After that, we examined every bit of wall and floor that's within our reach in silence, but I found nothing that could be of help in getting us out of here. Part 2. It's hard to tell how much time has passed since the sunlight doesn't make its way down here, but several hours must have passed, for someone delivered food to us. The guard who brought it had a mask of complete stoicism on his face. Say, isn't there any way you could let us go? That Prime Minister is an underling of the Demon King, you know? If you continue aiding him, you'll be treated like a member of the Demon King's army and dealt with as such. Any normal person would be given pause at hearing those words, but he didn't react at all. He didn't even look at me as he passed the food through the door, and no matter what I said, he simply stood there silently. Oh fine, I've really got to respect your dedication to your work. If you hear me out, I'll introduce you to a store where some pretty ladies can make your wildest dreams come. Hey, where are you going? Listen to me. The guard ignored my yells and left. Dust-san, you're wasting your effort. That person seems to be a demon too. It's best to think of this entire prison as Ragcraft's personal territory. More importantly, tell me more about those ladies that'll make my wildest dreams come true. Why are you falling for it instead? Is there really such a store that can make men's dreams come true? My dream is to be surrounded by women of all stripes, other than demons, and have them look at each other with jealousy while fighting for my affection. Can they really give me such a harem-like dream? Zesta excitedly pressed himself up against the bars, and some of his spittle fell into my cell as he ranted. Don't get that excited. What I said just now was just a bluff. If there really is such a great place, I wouldn't be here right now. Introducing a priest to the succubus shop probably isn't a great idea. Why? Yeah, of course. He immediately slumped his shoulders like the life just got knocked out of him. Well, getting worked up isn't going to help our situation, so let's eat up. I don't quite feel like starving to death. The food they delivered was unexpectedly decent, so I decided to dig in, but a thought occurred to me just before I could shovel the first spoonful of food into my mouth. They didn't poison this food, did they? Even if they did, I can nullify poison, so rest assured. Ah, yeah, of course. Priests sure are convenient. Hey, why are you digging in first? If you collapse, who's going to nullify the poison? Zesta's cheeks inflated like a squirrel's as he happily dug into his plate. It's almost like he hasn't even considered that possibility. Like I said, stop eating already. Oh, my apologies. However, I don't detect any abnormalities, so it should be fine. More importantly, I just noticed this, but isn't my plate and yours quite different? There seems to be a lot more dishes on your plate than mine. Now that he mentioned it, yeah, there does seem to be a greater variety of food on my plate. They even threw in a dessert. My plate is definitely superior in both quality and quantity. That Ragcraft bastard, is this meant to make up for him accidentally dragging me into this? Dust-san, there's something I haven't told you. I have a rare disease where if I don't stuff myself to bursting with food, I'll die. And my body grows lethargic unless I have a dessert too. Is that so? My condolences. Oh, this is actually not bad. I ignored Zesta, who was staring enviously at me, and dug into my plate. After having my fill, I laid down on the dirty floor and stared at the ceiling. My belly is full, so I'll leave the thinking to tomorrow. I told myself that it's important to recover your spirits in this situation and drifted off to sleep. Part 3. It's been a few days since then. I'm starting to get bored of counting the stains on the ceiling. Indeed. It's not like anything has changed. Plus, this entire place smells of demons, so my sense of smell has gotten dulled too. At first, I diligently scoured every inch of my cell in order to look for a way out, but after not finding even the slightest hint, I eventually gave up and settled into this. At this point, I was just rolling around on the dusty floor without even the motivation to find a better position to sleep. You're an archpriest, right? Cast some high-level magic and get us out of here already. If I could use such spells, I would have been acting much bolder than I did before. You were restraining yourself? You're kidding, right? The only person I had for company here is Zesta, so we had a few chats in my time here, but he's been spilling stuff that even took someone like me aback. His life so far has been the very definition of a free spirit, but even then, he's still holding himself back? Plus, there seems to be some kind of enchantment placed on this place. I can't use any of my priestly magics at all. I suppose demons would like to take precautions against a priest's abilities. Well, I guess that means we can't. Wait a minute, didn't you tell me that you could cure me if I get poisoned a while ago? Ha ha ha, it's a good thing there isn't any poison in it, right? I'm never trusting this guy again. A priest that can't use magic is pretty much worthless. Seems like I have to do something by myself. So we are completely out of options, huh? If someone were to bust in here and save me right now, I would have rewarded them with a passionate kiss. I don't need that. Don't put on a girly voice. It's disgusting. How rude. If you are going to be that way, I'm just going to leave you here. That voice is, could it be? I sprang back up into a seated position, and standing beyond the iron bars was lowly succubus smiling at me. Why you? Oh, a goddess has descended in this hell. Dust-san, if you know this girl, I must insist that you introduce us. Lowly succubus jumped back in shock as Zesta pressed his face against the bars and excitedly shouted. Well, I suppose anyone would react similar upon seeing a face twisted in ecstasy like that. Calm down. She looks innocent, but there's an extremely erotic side of her hidden beneath the surface. I can tell. Now, come sleep with me and tell me all of your hidden desires. I swear, we shall accept you no matter what kind of deviant interests you're hiding inside. What? Dust-san, just who is this person? Lowly succubus pressed herself against the bars of my cell in order to get as far away from Zesta as possible. He isn't a bad guy, he's just a pervert. Don't worry about it. How could I not worry about him? Sorry, just who are you? Oh, my apologies. I am a fervent believer of the most beloved goddess in this world, and an archpriest of the Axis cult. The name is Zesta, pleased to make your acquaintance, beautiful little lady. His choice of words was a little strange, but if you didn't know him very well, his smiling and gentle demeanor would make him look like an exemplary priest. Though, the blood drained from lowly succubus's face almost instantly. An archpriest of the Axis cult. There's no need to be that surprised. The kind and benevolent Axis cult holds no ill will towards any humans. Yeah, they're just a troublesome bunch to anyone that isn't one of them. Lowly succubus crouched and waved at me to come closer, so I moved up to the iron bars. Dust-san, make sure you don't let him find out about my true identity. Why not? The Axis cult is famous for their hatred of devils and undead. Didn't I tell you this before? Oh yeah, she mentioned something like that when we headed off to Alkenrisha. I think I recall the Axis cultists there saying something about devils must be destroyed, too. Zesta threw this entire conversation out of whack. But, lowly Sucklo Lysa, what are you doing here? I'm here to help you. Do make sure to thank me. Normally, this would have been a moving scene, but I just can't get worked up after what happened just now. Yeah, I could only greet her with a wry smile right now. Still, I'm grateful that she came for me. Still, how did you sneak in here? And how did you find out where I was being held in the first place? This place is a secret prison. Just finding out where it is would be a significant challenge. To be honest, I find it difficult to believe that lowly succubus is this good at gathering information. You should thank Vanir-sama. He foresaw that you would end up in such a situation back when he saw your fortune, so he told me about it in advance. That's why I've been observing you from the shadows all this while. I'm a succubus, so the lack of sleep wouldn't matter to me. As expected of sir. I'll follow him to the end of my days. Seems like he's doing this as thanks for that time you helped him pawn a defective item onto a girl. She must be talking about that time I tricked that woman who was planning to trick Taylor. Sir Vanir might be a devil, but his sense of duty is strongest out of anyone I've met. I'm glad that you came here to help me, but do you have a key? Yep. Lowly succubus cheerfully produced a ring of keys from her pocket, with which she unlocked the gates to my cell. Phew, I'm finally out of that cell. Thanks, you really helped me. It's Vanir-sama's order, after all. If you want to save that Axis cultist, please do it yourself, Dust-san. I don't really want to get close to him. She handed the bundle of keys over to me, so I opened the door of Zesta's cell. It's only natural for succubi to be wary of Axis cultists, but it seems like lowly succubus holds some reservations about the man himself. Well, considering his personality, I suppose it's only natural to be a little wary around him. I'm thankful that you saved me, but how did you get in here? Dust-san's companions helped me out and located a small entrance to the prison. It's a very small gap, so only I could fit through it. So, you two won't be able to exit the same way either. Lowly succubus was almost falling to pieces as she tried to explain. She's as bad at telling lies as ever, but it doesn't seem like Zesta has picked onto it. The beauty of women truly is blinding after being cooped up with men for quite some time. The Axis cult has a critical lack of little girls, so what about it? You could join up as a mascot for the organization. I'll consider it. What's there to consider? Such half-hearted placating replies won't work on any member of our organization. Now, come on, put your name on this registration form. Well, they took away all the forms I had on hand, so put your name on my boxers instead. Eek. You just want to show it off. You're scaring her, so cut it out. It'd probably be a first if he really did end up recruiting her into the Axis cult. Succubi don't exactly get along with religious orders. I grabbed lowly succubus by the shoulder and pulled her away as she tried to hide behind me. Leave this stuff to after we've gotten out of here. The tough part has yet to come. If we can't get out the way you got in, there's no choice but to force our way out the front. There are a few demons working under Ragcraft in this place. When I was watching the entrance, I think I saw several dozen people dressed as soldiers coming and going. That might be a little troublesome. Zesta crossed his arms and pretended to fall into deep thought, but his gaze never left lowly succubus for an instant. I took lowly succubus a little further from Zesta and crouched down beside her. So, how did you actually get in? That gap thing was a lie, right? You noticed? It was actually really easy. All I had to do was to reveal my true form in front of the guards and tell them that I was sent by Ragcraft to give you a sweet dream, and they let me waltz right in. I see. Well, I suppose it's only natural for a demon to trust a devil. There's no way they would have suspected that she was on my side. I originally wanted to bring in your sword as well, but as expected, bringing in a weapon is really pushing it. I see. Well, it can't be helped. It would really help a lot to put me at ease if I had that sword with me, but I suppose I should be happy enough that it wasn't taken away. I'm really glad I didn't bring that sword with me back then. Say, I've noticed this for a while now, but you really like that sword, don't you? You don't really care about the rest of your dressings, but you treat that sword like a treasured heirloom. That's, well, a warrior's weapons is something they have to entrust their lives to. It's only natural to take good care of them. Seemingly unconvinced by my explanation, lowly succubus stared at me with a doubtful look in her eye. She's surprisingly perceptive when she wants to. Never mind that, seriously, what should we do next? All I can think of is sending you out to draw the attentions of the guards somehow before we charge out when they are distracted. Yes, there are way too many guards out there. There's no way you can take them out in a straight-up fight. I left all my weapons and tools at the inn too. There's nothing I can do with just my bare hands. As lowly succubus and I were deliberating on what to do next, I heard a clattering sound coming from behind me. Thinking that Zesta might be up to something again, I turned around, only to see him unlocking the door at the end of the corridor and opening it. Wait. Didn't she tell you that the entrance is swarming with soldiers? Listen to me. I am well aware, but the soldiers here are all demons, right? Then, there's nothing to worry about. What are you talking about? There's plenty of stuff to worry about. Fighting against humans would be behind you. Just as we were talking, a horned demon suddenly appeared behind Zesta and raised a sword. Zesta immediately turned around and, Sacred Highness Exorcism. A sudden magic circle appeared beneath the feet of the demon, and a pillar of light sprang forth from it. Jaya! The demon that was engulfed by the light was almost instantly turned into a charred husk. So Zesta wasn't just a pervert who talked a big game. Just looking at lowly succubus's blood-drained face as she clung onto me is enough to tell me just what kind of firepower that old man is packing. I am the highest-leveled archpriest in the Axis cult. As long as I can use my magic, demons, devils, and undead are but child's play to me. For the first time, I thought that Zesta seems like someone I could rely on. After saying that, he picked up the sword that clattered onto the ground and handed it to me. It seems like you are more used to fighting with another weapon, but make do with this for now. This man. He never even saw me in combat before, but he managed to figure out what kind of weapon I'm specialized in just by watching my movements and gestures. This man really shouldn't be underestimated. Well, it's a different story if we have a powerful priest with us. I'll leave the vanguard to you. Lolisa, it might get dangerous, so follow us from way back over there. If there's a young girl cheering me on, my courage will be increased 100-fold. If you would call me Oni-chan, Daddy, or Papa, the power of my spells will be increased even further. Never. You're trembling all over, but you can still answer firmly on that point, huh? Part 4 afterwards, Zesta pretty much cleaned everything up by himself. This prison is staffed almost entirely by demons and the occasional devil or two, so there was nothing that could really stand up to his magic. I would run out and get them to bunch up before Zesta released his spells. The spells he used only affected demons and the undead, so I could stand right in the middle of it without getting hurt. So it really doesn't affect you at all, Dust-san. I was a little worried that it might purify you too considering how tainted your heart is. Of course. In the first place, if it does harm people who aren't pure at heart, Zesta would have self-destructed the moment he tried to use it. True. He would have been purified by his own power. Lowly succubus looked coldly at Zesta as he happily chased after a female devil. I feel a cold and disdainful gaze upon me. Instead of getting depressed, he seems to become more excited instead. He is almost like darkness in that sense, but in his case, he's not just limited to that. He also enjoys going on the offensive. Come on, if you don't run faster, the spell will hit you. Why are only my clothes being burned off? That's the results of my training. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to only target the clothes soaked in devilish essence while leaving the rest untouched? This makes all the time I spent working on it worth it. Humans are creatures that grow through effort. Why did I have to run into such a pervert? The female devil that screamed that was running around with her clothes in tatters, while Zesta chased after her shooting spells every so often. If you do this on the surface, you'll definitely be arrested. I can't let him find out. There's no telling what he'll do if he finds out. Lowly succubus, frightened by the sight, repeated those same few words over and over as she clung onto me. Well, I suppose I can let her do that for now. Zesta is all the way up in front, so there's no need to worry about him overhearing. The female devil seems to have escaped after Zesta toyed with her a little too much, but in her place, a small squad of skeletons showed up. They were holding a variety of weapons in their hands, so they'd be a fairly troublesome opponent to go head-to-head with, but, there's no flesh on your bodies, and it isn't interesting at all if you can't speak. I'll just make it quick. Turn undead. Zesta's spell took them all out in an instant. Well, this is easy. His personality is a little out there, but this is really making me want a priest in the party. Then, should I send someone from the Axis cult? I refuse. What I wish for is a sensible, normal priest. I've yet to meet with a decent Axis cultist. Every single one I meet is shot in the head somewhere. There's Kazuma's party priest, and the woman that I reunited with in this town. Plus, the guy at the top is Zesta. And here I thought you would be a good fit for the Axis cult. What a shame. In what way am I a good fit? The two of you are quite similar, you know? I think you guys don't get along because you're too similar. Don't lump me together with him. Lowly Succubus said something ridiculous. Sure, I'm a free spirit, but I'm nowhere close to the kind troublemakers that the Axis cult are. If you are interested in the Axis cult, feel free to visit at any time. Our doors are always open. Oh my, this could be troublesome. Despite saying that, Zesta had a smile on his face. I thought it would be a huge problem if he was reacting that way, so I turned to follow his gaze. What greeted me was a large mass of rocks arranged in a crude humanoid form. Wow, that looks tough. A golem. I don't have any problems dealing with devils or the undead, but golems are a poor match for a priest. Can I leave this to you? Zesta retreated to a short distance behind me. Oh well, I suppose it's my time to shine. Sure thing, just sit back and watch. I'll take care of this in no time. That thing is almost 3 times larger than me, but golems tend to move sluggishly. I'll just have to use my speed to dodge its attacks while taking out the joints. Grrr. The golem slowly raised its arm. Its movements are large and exaggerated. It would be child's play to dodge that attack and head for the thighs. I easily stepped around the golem's fist as it brought it down. I first noticed something was wrong when I heard the sound of the wind. The golem's arm suddenly shot forward, aiming for Lowly Succubus who was standing at the back of the party. I immediately jumped towards her. Why, you're molesting me here? As if. After just barely managing to dodge the blow, I rolled along the ground with Lowly Succubus in my arms. Kaya! My ears. And my arm too. Damn it, I think I got nicked. My sleeves are torn up and my arm is a bloody mess. I thought I managed to avoid it, but with its prestigious strength, even a near miss ended up opening a few wounds. Hey, are you alright? This is but a scratch. I casually waved my uninjured arm in Lowly Succubus's direction to reassure her I'm fine. I'm putting on a strong front, but to be honest, this is pretty bad. There's the risk of bleeding out, of course, but the major problem is that my arm is rendered almost useless now. Heal. How is your arm? A warm light covered my arm, and the wound closed almost instantly. Oh, not bad, Zesta. To be able to heal such a wound instantly. Yep, he really is reliable when it comes to his abilities. With Zesta supporting me, I can afford to play a little more aggressively. I charged in, dodging a couple of blows, and thrust my sword straight into the golem's knee. Grah. It's tough. Even the joints are well fortified, and that speed too. It seems like this golem has been upgraded quite a bit. A normal golem would have had its knee destroyed and collapsed under its own weight by now. Dust-san, the best way to defeat a golem is to damage the character on its forehead. I know that, but I can't reach it. Lowly Succubus needn't have told me that. The weak point of a golem is fairly common knowledge amongst us adventurers. Most golems have a magic rune engraved on their forehead, and destroying part of it will deactivate it. However, it's hard to accurately target such a small spot while the golem is moving around, so most adventurers tend to rely on going for the joints instead. This golem is large enough that there's no way I can reach his forehead with my sword. Dust-san, please use this. Hearing Zesta shout, I turned around to see a sharp point headed for my eye. Grah, that was close. It would have stabbed me right in the eye if I wasn't fast enough. Look where you are throwing things. Sorry, I got a little too ahead of myself. Still, will you be able to defeat him with that? The weapon that I barely managed to grasp was a spear. It was one of the weapons that the skeletons was using. Zesta really did see through what weapon I was specialized in. I really don't want others to see me using a spear, but I suppose a perverted priest and a succubus is fine. Though she'll probably be mad if she finds out. Dust-san, watch out. Lowly Succubus's shouted warning was welcome, but unnecessary. I slammed the butt of my spear into the ground and used it to propel myself up, neatly avoiding the fist that slammed into where I was just moments before. At the apex of my jump, I corrected my posture and thrust my spear directly at the golem's forehead, that was now at my eye level. With the flick of my arm, the spear tip cut right through one of the runes, and the golem immediately collapsed. Well done, Dust-san. Yeah, thanks to you. I don't really feel like getting too close with a man, but I could at least pay him a compliment. Part 5. It seemed like that was the last of the enemies, for nothing else came out to stop us after the golem. After reaching the end of the facility, we climbed up an extremely long spiral staircase before finally reaching the surface. Oh, it is night out. After pushing the thick iron gates open, we found ourselves in the middle of the city. Looking up, the stars of the night sky glittered down at me. This looked like a back alley, but still, to hide the entrance to a secret prison in a place like this. Seems like Ragcraft is quite a bold man. There was a pair of demons standing guard outside the entrance, but Zesta took both of them out without a word. Say, what were you planning to do if they were human? That was a possibility, wasn't it? Still, there's no need to worry. That spell wouldn't have any effect on humans, so the only ones that would be destroyed are demons and devils. Zesta said that to lowly succubus with a smile, and she hastily nodded. Say, did Zesta figure out her true identity? It's certainly possible for Zesta to be deliberately teasing her to see her terrified reactions. Well, as long as I don't know for sure, there's really nothing I can do. Pwah, the night air feels great. That line fits you really well, Dust-san. Leave me alone. By the way, do you know what happened to Kazuma and the others? I too felt a little guilty for not thinking about them until now, but I had my hands full. Though, considering that Ragcraft hasn't yet come to dispose of us, Kazuma and his party must still be alive. Kazuma-san and the others? They already left Elroad and headed back to Axel. Hey, are you serious? Say, I don't think they would do this, but Lin and the others didn't abandon me and head back on their own, did they? When I asked that of the shaking lowly succubus, she glanced off to the side and placed a finger on her cheek. Hey, you're joking, right? They wouldn't do something as heartless as to leave their companion behind and head home, would they? Well, about that. Just as she opened her mouth with an apologetic expression, the light came from over here. This is where Ragcraft built his secret prison. Could they be his underlings? A small squad of armed soldiers rushed into the alley. They seemed to have been drawn here after seeing the light from Zesta's spell. Aren't you making some kind of mistake? We were just prisoners who were locked up here. There's no one else but you here. Come now, what are you saying? You guys say something too. Saying that, I turned around, and saw a distinct lack of Zesta and lowly succubus. The only things I saw was the fast retreating back of Zesta as he ran down a side alley, and the winged form of lowly succubus growing every smaller as she flew off into the sky. You guys abandoned me. Arrest him. Not this again. Chapter 4, a great match for the sake of that succubus part 1. I'm sick of this. Just when I thought I've successfully managed to escape, I got thrown into a different jail cell. Still, Ragcraft isn't involved this time, so they'll probably hear me out. Speaking of, apparently, Ragcraft met his end at the hands of Iris. From what I heard, Kazuma did something to drive him into a corner, and he ran into Iris while trying to force the issue with violence. It's an absurd way to close the curtains on him, but I suppose I can just be happy to learn that those people are safe. This place is much better compared to the cell I was in before, so I think I'll just take it easy. Now that Kazuma and his party are safe and the conspiracy has been revealed, there's no need to worry. I'll just lean back until they come to let me out. Unlike the previous cell, this place had an actual bed, so indulged myself by rolling around in it. Just as I was beginning to get comfortable, a bunch of soldiers appeared before my cell and unlocked the door. Finally. So it took you this long to be convinced of my innocence. Hey, why are you covering my head? Don't tie me up too. Ow. Don't pull on me. What kind of play is this? The soldiers ignored my anger and wordlessly pushed me ahead. Even if I wanted to resist, I couldn't see anything, and my hands are also bound, so any such efforts wouldn't amount to much. After walking for quite some time, one of the guards forcibly grabbed me by the shoulder and made me sit down. Then, they removed the blindfold and my bindings, and the first thing that greeted me was a light bright enough to make me see stars. Grah, it's bright. Why have you brought me to the casino? They took me out of the cell just to bring me straight to a casino. I don't get it at all. You are Dust, an adventurer from Axel. Am I right? With an arrogant-sounding tone, a brat spun around in his seat and looked at me. The brat was wearing some stupidly expensive-looking clothes. Standing by his side were several well-armed soldiers, along with several hanger-ons that seemed way too stiff for me to ever be able to get along with. Didn't they ever teach you to introduce yourself first when asking for someone else's name, young master? Hey, what kind of tone do you think you are taking against Prince Levi? The one who shouted wasn't the kid, but a member of his entourage. Oh, so this is the Prince of Elroad that Iris was betrothed to, huh? The reason he brought me here must have something to do with the Ragcraft matter. Either that, or he found out about my connection with Kazuma. In either case, I don't have a good feeling about this. So, what business does the prince have with little old me? Still with that tone. It's fine, step back. I can speak for myself. The man took a step back after one look at Prince Levi's face. First off, I should apologize. It seems like Ragcraft has unduly troubled you. While it's true that you have committed some minor crimes, those aren't serious enough to have you be locked up like that. I promise to release you after we are done with this chat. Give his stuff back to him. Oh well, this is certainly unexpected. They blindfolded me and brought me all the way out here just to see the prince of this country. I put on a brave front, but internally, I was thinking that this would end up pretty badly for me. I checked the bag that the soldier handed over to me, and everything was in order. Well, you're a pretty sensible person. Anyway, see ya. I tried to stand up and leave, but the soldier standing behind me once again grabbed me by the shoulder and forced me to sit back down. That's only half of it. There's one other matter apart from the issue with the imprisonment. We caught a female devil. Does that ring a bell? At those words, Levi snapped his fingers, and from behind him appeared lowly succubus, escorted by a pair of guards. TSK. What the hell are you doing here? You are the one who ran and left me alone. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help it. Lowly succubus cried through teary eyes as the soldier behind her pushed her forward. Never mind that. More importantly, why are you dressed like that? Please don't stare at me too much. It's embarrassing. Her cheeks were bright red and she's fidgeting around. She's seriously embarrassed. I can't help but feel a certain sense of wrongness seeing her like this. She usually boldly parades about in clothing that might as well be lingerie. Compared to that, what she's wearing right now is nothing to be embarrassed over. Her current outfit leaves little skin exposed, though I suppose it's small and form-fitting enough to make out her full bodyline. Say, what's so embarrassing about that outfit? Those are the same ones that the priest of the Axis cult wears, right? Yes, that's exactly it. Wearing these clothes fills me with a sense of wrongness and shame that prevents me from using my powers. I never thought I'd be subjected to such humiliation. She was covering her face and shouting for me not to look at her, but to be honest, I really don't get where her line is. It's tight enough that I can probably make out what size of underwear she wears if I squint, but even so, it's far better than the kind of clothes that she usually wears. I'm being forced to wear the clothes of our natural enemy, the priests. Think about it the other way. A priest would be embarrassed if she had to dress like a succubus, right? Isn't that line of reasoning a little off? I don't really get the reasoning behind it, but at the end of the day, wearing the clothing of a priest seems to be really embarrassing to succubi. I'll just nod along like I actually understand and move on. So you do know her. I'm sure you are aware that she's working under Ragcraft as part of the contingent he brought from the Demon King's army. Considering the circumstances, there's no way we could just let her go. We're considering either forced labor or throwing her to the Axis cult. Throwing me to the Axis cult. Lowly Succubus was already teary-eyed, but now her face grew stark white and she started trembling. Though, considering the Axis cult's reputation for hating devils, I suppose that kind of fear isn't entirely unfounded. My time with Zesta has told me that that reputation is not just empty words. Come on, could you not do that? Who knows what kind of state she'll end up in if you hand her over to the Axis cult. In response to my words, Lowly Succubus aggressively nodded even as she was trembling. Of course, I'm well aware. And that brings me to my main point. Do you have any idea what the Axis cult are doing in this country as of late? Prince Levi frowned and heaved a deep sigh. And not really. I've been stuck in a cell for quite some time, after all. See, those guys. With the guy who claims to be the head of the cult, Zesta, and a female priest leading them, those bunch have been conducting constant recruitment drives in front of the casinos and important government buildings. They keep saying stuff like, reparations for being unfairly imprisoned. Make the Axis cult the official state religion or we won't leave. If you don't accept our requests, we'll head to the casinos and hit on every girl who comes out every hour and every day. I'll focus on lawless and handsome guys. And so on. Wow, Zesta is probably venting all of his frustrations after getting locked up in that prison for so long. As for the Axis cultists, they're probably doing it partially because they find it enjoyable. As such, I'm planning to hand her over to them as a gift of appeasement. Why you can't? Who knows what they'll do to me if I fall into their hands? I still haven't risen to the top of the shop yet. Will they spare me if I join the Axis cult? But, Vanir-sama. Will hate me if I join them. Lowly Succubus seems to be completely caught in the throes of panic. I never thought I'd hear those words come out from the mouth of a devil. Well, they do seem to have a weakness for little girls. If you deal directly with Zesta, it's certainly possible that they will do as you ask. Though, she will suffer a fate worse than death. Zesta will definitely happily play with Lowly Succubus. I know him that well. I'm sure they'll push all kinds of chores onto me, and give me nothing but holy water for dinner. Ah, I can hear them now. Oh, are you saying that you can't drink the water I graciously poured for you? And they'll fill the bath with holy water and other such. It seems like picturing what would happen to her is too much for Lowly Succubus to take. She seems like she's on the verge of collapsing completely. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to sleep well at night if I leave her like this. Can't you do something about this? She might be a devil, but she has no connection to the Demon King's army. If anything, she's been very helpful to us humans so far. You can go ahead and bring out the lie-detecting magic item if you doubt me. If you are willing to go that far, I'll take you at your word. But even if what you say is true, I think you understand that we cannot simply let a devil go at a whim. Well, if you want me to release the devil, I have a condition. A condition? I could have sworn I seen a smile on Prince Levi's face just now. I have a bad feeling about this, but I don't have any other choice right now. A condition, huh? This is starting to sound fishy, but I'll hear you out anyway. I do owe quite a bit to her after all. I can't just abandon her here. Dust-san. Lowly Succubus stared at me with wistful eyes, clearly touched. According to our research, you seem to share a close relationship to Kazuma Dano that Princess Iris seems to regard as a brother. Yeah, he's a close friend of mine. In that case, tell me everything you know about Kazuma, especially any weaknesses he might have. Additionally, I would like you to regularly report on his actions and daily activities, especially when it comes to his relationship with Iris. Kazuma's weaknesses? Really? I couldn't help but say that after being confronted by something completely unexpected, we do owe him for revealing Ragcraft's true identity and saving this country, but, thanks to him, I've lost Princess Iris. Prince Levi angrily shouted through clenched fists. Seeing his anguished form, I couldn't help but voice the first thing that came to my mind. What, did Iris dump you? Even though you two were betrothed? Gurk. Prince Levi clutched at his chest and fell to his knees. Hey you're being too rude. Try and imagine how our prince feels after toying with her with the intention of breaking off the Beth Royal, only to unwittingly fall for her but get rejected anyways. The woman he loved told him, let's be friends forever. You know. How could you even understand a fraction of the pain that the prince is going through? The entourage surrounding the prince immediately erupted, but Prince Levi seems to be suffering even more upon hearing their words. I think they are doing more damage to him than I am. That's enough. I don't think my heart will hold if this continues. Levi somehow managed to crawl to his feet while clutching his heart. Are you alright? There's no need for concern. So, let's hear your answer. It isn't a bad deal. I can save Lowly Succubus just by telling them information about Kazuma. However, I ain't selling out my friends, especially not towards royalty or nobility. I haven't fallen low enough to betray my close friends. So you'll be giving up on the devil, then? Lowly succubus once again shivered in fear upon hearing the prince's voice. What are you making such a pathetic-looking face for? Of course not. I'm the kind of person who doesn't think twice about taking away other people's stuff, but hate it when it's done to me. I confidently puffed out my chest as I said to the prince, What a bold confession. But I already have Vanir-sama, so I wouldn't mind being your friend. Lowly succubus started blushing. I think she's misunderstanding something. She's muttering something while playing with her fingers, but her voice is too soft for me to make out. So, what about this? We were in the city of casinos, Elroad. It seems merely fitting for us to settle this with a game. Oh ho. To think that you would propose the same thing as Kazuma Dano. It would seem it's true that the two of you are close friends after all. Very well, I'll promise to release the devil if you win. However, what are you betting? There's no point to this game if we both don't wager something of similar value. The prince smiled confidently. It doesn't seem like he's even entertaining the idea that he might lose. His demeanor completely changed the moment I brought up the game. I guess it's only fitting for the heir of a family who earned their fortune through gambling. Something to wager, huh? Something suitable to secure the release of lowly succubus. There's only one thing that I possess that has that much value. What about this sword? When I placed my favorite sword on the table, I caught a brief glimpse of surprise splash across Prince Levi's face. Are you aware of the true value of your sword? Seems like you've a good idea about it yourself. Of course, I'm well aware of its true value. I know better than anyone the value of this sword. That's precisely why I brought it out as my wager. Very well, that sword will suffice. Let's begin with our game. I got this very precious sword from that person. I was betting that Prince Levi, as royalty, would know its true value, and it seems like that paid off. Wait a minute. Dus-san, aren't you really bad at gambling? You've lost so badly every time you've played a game in the city, so where are you getting your confidence from? After losing so many times, my next round would be a victory, right? That's the way all those people who got destroyed by gambling think. P+, that sword is very important to you, right? No matter how troubled by money you are, you never once tried to pawn it, so to wager it for a devil like me. I placed a hand on the head of the distraught lowly succubus. You'll be showing me erotic dreams in the future, aren't you? Dust-san. I'm really disappointed. Seriously, you have no idea what women want at all. You should be saying something much more touching here. I'll give you another chance, so do it again. Oh, shut up. The great me is saving your ass, so just keep quiet and be grateful. Just make sure to tell the other succubi in the shop about how cool I am here. I gently patted the complaining lowly succubus on the head. Do you remember, Dust-san? Thinking that girls enjoy getting patted on the head is the fantasy of a virgin, you know? Yeah, of course I do. You were the one who told me that. I did it precisely because lowly succubus told me that before. Perhaps it's just my imagination, but she certainly seems quite happy about it to me. So you're fine with that, right? Let's get more spectators before we get started. I can't bring myself to get motivated without a crowd of onlookers. Prince Levi snapped his fingers, and from behind him appeared Lynn, Taylor, and Keith. What are they doing here? After you went missing, they came to the castle and police station multiple times. It would have been troublesome if they realized that I had you in my custody and met up with the Axis cultists, so I had them confined to the rooms. There's no need to add more fuel to the fire. So this is what lowly succubus was struggling to say back when I asked her about my companions. I thought that they would have gone back together with Kazuma and his party, but to think they've been under house arrest all this time. Hey, Dust, what's going on here? Who's the kid? And what's with all these soldiers? We went looking all over the place after you vanished, but we ended up locked up in the inn and dragged all the way here on top of that. You better give me an explanation. Say, what did you do this time? And why Lolisa dressed like a priest over there? I won't get angry, so tell me the truth. My companions were really striking up a fuss behind me. It's quite annoying. I just brushed over lowly succubus's situation, and gave them a brief explanation regarding my imprisonment, and explained away Prince Levi as a major noble of this country and Alice's fiancé. They seemed to be satisfied with that. So that means it's all your fault, right? Sneaking out to a casino without telling is your fault, and so is rampaging and getting caught. So isn't it weird for us to be placed under house arrest too? Companions are meant to help each other, right? They talk about all for one and one for all in a team. I was stuck in a cell, while you guys were stuck in an inn. Even if we are in different places, we'll always be together. I let out a little laugh, and my companions reacted with their fists. Hey, cut it out. Ow. Learn to hold back a little. I dived under the table to get away from the barrage of fists thrown my way. Those guys were really going at it. The only one who didn't join in, lowly succubus, was standing on the floor, constantly gazing between me and my companions and at a complete loss for what to do. I don't really know what Alice's fiancé is doing here, but we don't really care about this guy, so just let us go. Dust, we weren't able to complete the request because of you. There's no way you'll be able to cover the fees this time. You can slice him up or boil him alive or do whatever you want with him. And to think I actually was worried over you. Just go spend a year locked up. Is there no one who even cared about my well-being? True, going on a rampage was my fault, and so was getting caught and breaking out, but, wait. Don't tell me, lowly succubus's current situation is also my fault? Incidentally, the reason I'm here is because this man damaged the casino that is run by my family. It seems like Prince Levi has decided that it wouldn't be advantageous to him to reveal his identity and played along with my story. Ha! Don't get the wrong idea. I'll have a game with this guy to secure Lolisa's freedom, but you guys are just spectators, so it doesn't matter to you if I win or lose. Right, young master. Indeed. It seems I wasn't thorough in explaining things, but the only one who will be released if I lose this game is that Lolisa, was it? Only that girl will be released. As expected of a prince, Levi is really good at reading the atmosphere and quick on the uptake. Wait a minute, I never heard anything about this. Properly explain this. I don't care about Dust, but it's a different story if we are talking about Lolisa. Yeah, though Dust can go hang for all I care. Why you assholes, what's with this difference in our treatments? My companions completely ignored me and crowded around lowly succubus with concern written on their faces. You really have no friends, do you? Don't look at me like that, it's embarrassing. Prince Levi was looking at me with a pitying gaze. Well see. Lowly succubus repeatedly casted pleading glances at me. She's still as weak under pressure as ever. I guess I'll just have to make something up to satisfy these bunch. Sigh, fine. I'll just lay it out. Come here for a bit. Sorry, young master, please hold on for a while. I lead lowly succubus and my companions over by one of the pillars. I lowered my voice to prevent others from overhearing, and gave them the story that I worked out over in my head. The truth is, there's a noble who has his eyes on her. In order to make her his possession, he tricked her into playing a few games and landed her into a ton of debt. I coincidentally ran across them when he was bullying lowly succubus after she was unable to return the money, and I punched him in anger, which landed me in jail. Didn't someone say you lost a game and ended up rampaging over it just now? That's well, we can't just say that Lolisa ended up in debt because of gambling, right? Yes. I didn't want you to learn about something so embarrassing, so I begged Dust-san to keep it a secret. Lowly succubus managed to catch where I'm going with this and started playing along. It ain't too bad for something I cooked up on short notice, if I say so myself. So, about the person I punched. Well, it's really more of a light tap, but that person is, that kid over there. X4 not just my companions, even lowly succubus was taken aback by that. Hey, come on, don't waver now. This is just between us, but that brat got rejected by Alice. In place of her, he set his eyes on Lolisa who was about the same height and seemed easy to pick on. After binding her with debt, he was going to use her as a substitute for Alice and toy with her. Isn't that right, Lolisa? Why yes, that's exactly it. He was saying, you are Alice's replacement. Now, crawl up on stage and lick my boots while saying, I'm Alice, my fiancé is the best in the world, when Dust-san got involved. That wasn't half bad. She's pretty good at thinking on her feet at times. What a pervert. Taking advantage of your weakness to do something like that. As a fellow woman, there's no way I can forgive him. What a spoiled brat. Even I haven't managed to do that sort of play. Forcing a girl to do such a thing, even if he's a child, that's over the line. My companions glared in Prince Levi's direction after hearing that story. I get the feeling that I might have overdid it a little, but I'm really glad that my companions are so easily fooled. We returned to our original spots, though this time, my companions were giving Prince Levi a glare of death. Say, why are those three glaring at me like that? Sounds like what they ate this morning didn't agree with them. They are having stomach aches right now. Oh fine. Let's start the game, shall we? I'm fine with it. Though, just to confirm one last time, if I win this game, you'll release Lolisa. If you win, Lolisa becomes your sex slave. You're fine with our right? Wait, what were you saying? Of course not. X3 Levi's surprised voice was drowned up by the angry-sounding chorus that my companions raised. My three companions rushed over to me. Stop interfering. You three just stay quiet and leave it to me. No way. X3 they are in perfect lockstep only in times like this. Aren't you really weak when it comes to gambling? I've never once seen you win. I don't really care what happens to you, but Lolisa is on the line here. The other two nodded in agreement with Lin's words. Even I am a man who get things done when everything is on the line. Just leave it in my hands, I'll steer us to safety. When have you ever steered us to safety? Indeed, nothing good ever comes when you are at the helm. If I'm ever in a boat where you are the captain, I'd probably be safer just jumping out and swimming. The original line here is, which is a Japanese turn of phrase that means having a stern foundation / leave it to me, but literally means boarding a large boat, which is then followed by them complaining what a shit boat Dust is. This is naturally untranslatable, so I've had to take some liberties. I tried to persuade my companions who raised all kinds of objections, but they didn't seem to be of a mind to listen at all. At this rate, we won't even be able to start the game. It seems like the terms of this game have been altered somewhat, but never mind. Anyway, it doesn't look like your companions trust in your skills very much. Say, what about this? You and your companions can face me one at a time. If any of them win, I'll release the girl. I'll also pay a small compensation fee for all the troubles to the one who wins. Perhaps he's tired of seeing us squabble, but Levi proposed a really ridiculous deal. Hey, are you serious? There's 4 of us here, you know? You need to win 4 games in a row, you know? Of course. I have no intentions of losing in a gambling match. No matter what tricks you use, I will not go back on my word. Levi proudly declared. People who act this confident usually have some kind weakness to exploit, but he doesn't give off that impression. He's just a kid, but I can feel a strong determination in his eyes. Was it just my imagination? Just as I was thinking that, lowly succubus scooted closer to me and whispered in my ear. I heard about this in the casino, but apparently, Prince Levi lost consecutively to Kazuma-san. Ever since then, he frequently shows up in the casinos to play games, and he's never lost since. I see. So that's why he's so confident. After losing to Kazuma, he's rethought his approach, and has refined his skills at gambling. Huh? So, what will you do? I don't really mind what your companions offer as a wager. The sword that you are offering is just that valuable. That last bit was said in a whisper just loud enough for me to make out. And here I thought that he was offering us such an advantageous deal. So that is what he's after. My companions, a little suspicious over this deal that seems too good to be true, huddled around to discuss amongst themselves. I offered this deal as a concession, so is there really a need to mull over it this much? Good grief, I've heard that adventurers are a fearless bunch, but to think that they would be such cowards as to hesitate on such a low-risk adventure. Prince Levi crossed his arms and said smugly, he's pretty good with his taunts. Heh, even if it's a noble, if he's willing to go that far, there's no way I can back out now. I don't normally gamble, but I think I'll make an exception for today. I'm not like Dust, my rate of victory isn't half bad. I'll make you cry, uncle, today. My companions aren't people who would back down after being taunted like that. Well, as long as it increases my chances of victory, I'll greatly welcome it. Part 2, hey. I angrily raised my voice. Sitting right in front of me are Keith and Taylor, dressed in nothing but a single set of underwear. It's fine to be enthusiastic about it, but the two of them were almost instantly taken out and lost everything they were wearing. Weren't you? Saying something like, humph, there's no need for Dust to show his hand here, and this will all come to an end at my hands just now? Why do you have nothing but your underwear now? There's no way I could have expected that I wouldn't win a single round. I almost never gamble, so I'm not great at it. The two of them lost completely without even seeming to turn the tables even once. It's partly because they are weak, but it's mostly because Prince Levi's skill as a gambler is top-notch. No, it's not just skill. It was Levi's complete victory. He always drew the best hand when playing cards, and the ball would fall in the most unlikely spot 100% of the time. This is not at the level of just luck. This guy is definitely cheating somehow. He's working with the dealer, and on top of that, there's definitely something up with the deck of cards. There's probably some kind of faint marking or design on the back of the cards that allowed him to tell what the value is without flipping it over. I bought some similar items in order to beat Kazuma at his game, so I'm very familiar with them. It's impossible to see through exactly what method he's using now. The cards have already been taken away. Still, if my predictions are right, Prince Levi will be able to win as many times as he likes. To play dirty with me, you have some guts, don't you? You guys just sit here and reflect. Leave the rest to me. Dust. X2 The two of them stared at me with gaping mouths. It seems like they were taken aback by my uncharacteristically dependable words. There isn't a person in this world less reliable than you. You're the worst at gambling out of all of us. If I have to rely on you, I'd rather join the Axis cult and pray to their god for help. You two sure love to yap. Maybe you should put all that energy into winning a few games instead. What did you say? I took up a guarded stance as Keith started coming to blows with me. Taylor too is also slowly closing the distance between us. Hey, don't you guys ignore me. The game is not over yet. Levi shouted something towards us as the three of us turned our attentions away from the game to scuffle amongst ourselves. Oh yeah, there's still my match to go, and Lynn is currently in the middle of hers. I stopped squabbling with Keith and turned back towards the table, but neither Lynn nor lowly succubus could be seen. Hey, what happened to those two? They lost instantly, so they are now in the dressing room. Dressing room? Hey wait, what did she bet? I have a bad feeling about this. Levi didn't answer, instead merely looking down and fidgeting. Keith and Taylor lost everything but their underwear, so she didn't bet to strip naked and serve you, did she? You really are a pervert. Seriously. Hey, Dust, Taylor, you won't mind if I go over to their side, do you? Stop messing around. Taylor smacked Keith on the head when he said such a thing with a straight face. Seems like it hurt quite a bit, if the way he's rolling around on the floor is any indication. That was close. There was a moment there where the exact same thought went through my head. Don't say stupid things. I still think it's a little too early for me to be doing such things. Plus, the person in question. He's surprisingly innocent, this kid. Wait, you're kidding right? It's fine, your important bits are properly covered. It's only just barely. How are you okay with this, Lolisa? I'm used to it. From the other side of the door, the panicked voice of Lynn and the strangely calm voice of lowly succubus could be heard. The door soon opened, and lowly succubus confidently strode out of it, followed by a Lynn that's desperately trying to hide her body behind lowly succubus. The two of them were wearing clothes that could barely be called such, only barely covering their important bits. You wooa. Keith and Prince Levi's entourage let out an enthusiastic cheer. Prince Levi and Taylor immediately turned away and tried their best not to look. Keith and I of course took this chance to look all we wanted. You know, there's really nothing new in seeing Lolisa in such an outfit. We are dressed in such embarrassing outfits, so at least try and be happy about it. She's pretending to be shy, but there isn't much difference between her clothes and the ones she wears in the shop, so it didn't do much for me. Lynn, you should learn from Lolisa a little and come out. No way. I'd rather die right now. Lynn's face was completely red when she poked out from behind lowly succubus. It's nice to see women confidently strutting their stuff, but I suppose this isn't too bad either. I'm a little embarrassed too. It's different from my usual outfit. She might say that, but she seems really happy to be able to get out from that priest's outfit. That's 3 victories. The only one left is you. I've grown tired of waiting. It's time for the main event. I got up to the seat, and Lynn and lowly succubus moved to stand behind me. Is Lynn planning on using me to cover herself up even more? I moved to look behind me, but a pair of arms grabbed me by the head and forced me to look forwards. Gwa, my neck. It hurts. What's the big deal? It's not like you'd lose a pound of flesh or anything. No way. The next time you turn around, I'm going to gouge out your eyes. That's scary. Even if it's to cover up your embarrassment, there are better ways to go about doing it. Still, how did you end up wearing that anyway? You see, Linson said, why don't make the loser wear an embarrassing outfit? In a peek, and I got wrapped up in it. I couldn't help it. Lolisa went through so much because of him, so it's only fair to make him go through a similar experience. Seriously, she's always lecturing me about not acting rashly, but when it comes down to it, she's the one who ended up like this. After losing to a kid and wearing such an embarrassing outfit, it feels like Lin might faint out of embarrassment at any time. I don't really mind looking at Lin dressed like this, but thinking of the other people who are also observing her ticks me off somehow. I should get this over with quickly so she can change out of it. I took off my jacket and offered it to Lin, before turning towards Prince Levi. Sorry for making you wait. Let's start the true match. It's not much fun playing against them when I win so quickly. I hope you'll be able to entertain me. Prince Levi is really putting on airs after winning 3 times in a row. Well, it's only natural to win when you're cheating. Unlike my usual games, there's no way I can afford to lose this match. If only Vanir-sama was here, he could use his future sight to ensure a victory. I'm of the same mind as lowly succubus. If I got Sir Vanir to divine a path to victory for me, even if my luck is bad, I'd still be able to draw the winning card every time. Still, I've heard that Sir's powers of foresight will lead to no good end if used to satisfy his own desires. He told me when I suggested that he would be better off using his powers to win games of luck and chance. I thought that he would be able to win every time if he can see the future, but it seems like the world isn't this easy to cheat. Still, if I had access to Sir Vanir's powers in this situation. Wait a minute. Come to think of it, Sir told me something when he was divining my fortune a week back. I get the feeling that it's important. Have you still not decided yet? Prince Levi said with an annoyed voice. I've spent quite a bit of time chatting with lowly succubus, after all. Say, why don't we settle this with a card game? Do tell me more details. Let's keep the rules nice and simple. We'll put the cards numbering 1 through to 13 on the table, and each of us will draw 1 card. The one who drew the highest value card wins. However, an ace will beat, and only beat, a king. What do you think? Even a dummy can understand these rules, right? I grabbed the deck of cards next to me, shuffled them, and placed 13 cards on the table. After listening to my explanation, Prince Levi crossed his arms and looked intensely at the cards. How many rounds are we going for? Let's do it like men. We'll have 1 round that decides everything. Very well. All I have to do is draw a single card, yes. He seemed like he was seriously mulling it over, but he instantly drew one without hesitation. That means it's my turn, then. I glanced at lowly succubus standing behind me. She had her eyes closed, her hands clasped, and seemed to be fervently praying. I'm a little curious as to what exactly a devil prays to. If it would really help me win, I would probably pray to the goddess Aquasama that the Axis cultists are so devoted to, but it probably wouldn't work. In the first place, praying to the goddess of luck, Eris, would be more fitting. I actually met her in person, so maybe it might actually work. Nah, forget it. I have an almost fatal lack of luck. Thus, it's frustrating, but I'm pretty hopeless when it comes to gambling. It's way too late for me to turn to the gods for help, so that's why I choose this card. The only way I can achieve victory is through skill. I'll reveal my card first. You are fine with that, I presume. Go right ahead. I'll let you make the first move. The number on the card that Prince Levi flipped over is a king. Seeing the card in his hand, Prince Levi put on an arrogant smile, completely certain in his victory. Now I know that he's been cheating. Hey, Dust, isn't this bad? Don't panic, Keith. Learn from Taylor and just calmly sit there. Taylor was seated cross-legged on the floor, silently observing the events without uttering a single word. But the card he drew is the strongest card, a king. The only way you can beat him is if you drew an ace out of these 12 cards. Do you know what probability is? It's a 1 in 12 chance, you know. You don't have any luck in the first place. Do you really think you can win? Keith and Lynn crowded me on both sides and started yammering away at me. As for the other two, Taylor was silently praying, while lowly succubus was looking up towards the ceiling with her eyes tightly closed. These guys, they don't have even the slightest bit of confidence in me. I ignored the noise that my companions were making, crossed my arms, stared at the table, and imagined what is going to happen next. Pulling a surprise victory in such a situation. Only someone who can pull that off can be considered a true gambler. After taking a deep breath to calm my nerves, I raised my head and met the eyes of the brat opposite me. He had a confident smile on his face. It'd be fun to watch that face break out into tears. What's wrong? Are you getting cold feet now? If you'll prostrate yourself before me and accept my request, I wouldn't mind reconsidering our terms. Come now, as if I could do something that pathetic. Hey, hurry up and prostrate yourself. Put your forehead all the way to the ground. It's a cheap price to pay for Lolisa, isn't it? I'm so sorry for the troubles our resident idiot has caused for you. Hurry up and lick the young master's boots clean. You idiots, don't get in my way. Lynn and Keith grabbed me by the back of the head and tried to forcefully push me down. After managing to shake them off, one of the prince's bodyguards grabbed Keith for obstructing the game and dragged him over to where Taylor is. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go. No, I'm a pacifist. Keith considered fighting back for a moment, but one look at the size of the bodyguard's fist seems to be enough to dissuade him from doing so, and he quickly fell silent. He has the strongest card, doesn't he? That means there's no chance of winning. Our loss is almost assured. And the person at stake, lowly succubus, grabbed onto my neck and started shaking me with teary eyes. Are you trying to kill me? Our defeat isn't set in stone just yet. But, he has a king. There's no way you can beat him. Didn't you hear the rules? A king might be the strongest card, but there's one card that can beat it. Her crying expression was replaced with a dazed expression upon hearing my words. Of course I know. The only one that can beat it is the weakest card, an ace. Ah, the weakest. Seemingly recalling the fortune that Sir gave to me before we left, lowly succubus's eyes widened to the largest I've seen them. I'm not blessed by the goddess of fortune, but in place of that, I have the backing of a great devil behind me. The card that I confidently turned over is the weakest card, an ace. What? How could you pull out an ace here? Prince Levi, who was so confident in his victory earlier, leapt to his feet, his king falling from his grasp. I knew that I would be victorious from the moment that he drew a king. After all, the result of this match has already been decided. After all, Sir Vanier's fortunes are never mistaken. Indeed, you seem to be blessed with the fate of drawing the weakest possible card during your most important game. The moment I remembered those words, I came up with a way to ensure a victory in this match. After all, I'm fated to draw the weakest card in this game. And, I've learned from the previous games that Prince Levi will always draw the strongest possible hand and instantly defeat his opponent. With that in mind, all I had to do was to include a rule where the weakest card can defeat the strongest. Thanks for the help, Sir Vanier. Oh yeah. I thrust my fist into the air and looked back, and my companions were happily jumping towards me. You really pulled through. You looked really cool at the end, you know. You did it. You did it, Dust. Kaya, that was amazing. You are amazing, Dust-san. An overjoyed lowly succubus wrapped her arms around my neck. She was wearing almost nothing, so even her pitiful body felt really soft when she's hugging me this closely. If only there was a little more flesh there. Did you say something? No, nothing at all. Her smile kinda scares me, so I think I'll just leave it there. I lost again. I pulled out all the stops and dirty tricks I had, and still lost to Kazuma-dano's friends. Maybe I'll just ban gambling in this country. Having lost every shred of his confidence, Prince Levi collapsed against the table, completely motionless while muttering something to himself. This kinda makes me feel like I'm picking on a kid. Well, you know, gambling is a matter of luck. You shouldn't get so depressed over it. Seeing Prince Levi like this was just too pitiful, so I couldn't help but offer some words of encouragement. Come to think of it, he got completely beaten by Kazuma too, didn't he? Feeling sorry for him, I placed a shoulder on lowly succubus's shoulders and took her a short distance away from my companions. Hey, go cheer him up. I'll teach you a magic phrase that will instantly revitalize any down-in-the-dumps man who hears it. When I whispered those words into lowly succubus's ear, the attitude of admiration that she had towards me disappeared completely. She gave me an exasperated look. I'm a succubus too, so that's child's play for me, but, oh well, I show you what I can do. After flashing me a confident smile, she wandered over to Prince Levi. Young master, what do you want? You are already free to go anywhere you want. I intended to release you no matter if I win or lose, but to think it ended up like this. Maybe I'm just a loser after all. Towards the listless Levi, lowly succubus struck a pose that emphasized her breasts. Are you alright? Please cheer up. Would you like to touch my breasts? Breasts are the perfect remedy for depression. Such a technique would be especially effective against a brat that's in the midst of puberty. But there's nothing to touch, is there? Gurk. Hey, you shouldn't say that. Hearing such cruel words brought the tears back to lowly succubus's eyes once again, and I hurried to restrain her before she could punch him. Cut it out. If you hit him, things will just get complicated again. Even a kid made fun of me. Wah. With a crying and struggling lowly succubus in tow, we left the building. Epilogue, still, that was a really amazing reversal you pulled back there. Though I still don't get how you won. But who cares about that, right? Jaya ha. Keith, in a good mood, happily said as he raised a mug full of beer. Cheers. X3 we too raised our mugs to celebrate our victory. Right now, we are having a small drinking party at a bar in El Road. We received quite a bit of money as compensation for what happened, more than enough to make up for having failed the quest. Thanks to that money, I am able to enjoy our last night in El Road together with my companions. I still don't believe how someone as unlucky as you actually managed to win. I have the luck of a devil, after all. The truth is that it's only because of Sir Vanier's fortune, but there's no need to tell them that. Basically, I won thanks to my genius-level intellect. Yes, you just happened to win back then. I'll praise you just this once. You did pretty well, even if it's you. Yeah, the way you won was really impressive. I'm surrounded by nothing but dishonest companions, but just for today, I think I'll let it slide. This has been the best day of my life, after all. Space. After that, we drank right into the middle of the night, and my companions retired one by one. I went out of the bar to sober myself up a little. Oh, it's a full moon tonight. The moon shone brightly in the sky, and the night wind felt great on my flushed skin. The moon is really pretty tonight, isn't it? What are you doing? I turned around and spotted lowly succubus looking down at me while sitting on the roof of the building. My heart skipped a beat upon seeing her tonight. She had a certain bewitching feel that was a far cry from how she usually carried herself in the store. Dust-san, did you know? Succubi get their spirits raised during the full moon, so we are much more excitable on those nights. She leapt off the roof with a flip and landed in front of me. Then, she placed a finger on my chest and started tracing circles on it. Why? Did you wager your precious sword for me? Don't tell me. You value me more than the sword. The full moon was reflected in lowly succubus's damp eyes when she stared up at me. I gently placed a hand on her back and stepped to the side. Blearg. Just in time to avoid the stream that came out of her mouth. You pushed yourself too far. If you do any acrobatics after having drank that much, this is just the natural result. Sorry. After gently patting her on the back to get it all out, I turned around, briefly considering piggybacking her to her room, but I reconsidered. Instead, I placed my arms beneath her knees and her back and lifted her up. Dust-san. I failed the quest to watch over a princess, but I can at least treat you like a princess in her place. At least for tonight. Afterward it's finally the release of the 4th volume. I really get more and more attached to Dust as a character the more I write about him. It's really fun as a writer to have a character who's allowed to do scummy things, so I have him do something crazy every time. In the 3rd volume, Dust got involved with Iris, but what if in the 4th volume, Dust was keeping watch over Kazuma and his party as they visited Elroad? If we do that, we could have a third party observe just how carefree their actions are in the main story. Apart from that, I also planned on giving Keith and Taylor some more time in the spotlight, since they have had relatively few appearances despite being part of Dust's party. So please look forward to seeing their achievements. Speaking of the spotlight, there's also some time given to what might possibly be the #1 pervert in KonoSuba. I originally planned to have him appear in Volume 2, but I thought that he might end up overshadowing Dust and his party entirely if he were to appear alongside the Axis cultists, so I didn't go with that. Thus, I had him go a little bit wild in this volume. I quite like this character, so it made me really happy to finally be able to include him in the story. Oh, and we can't forget Loli Succubus aka Lolisa in this volume. She plays off really easily with Dust, so she's one of my favorite characters. Right, let's leave talking about the contents of Volume 4 here and talk about something else. I was able to attend the recording session for the drama CD. I was totally blown away by the performances of the CU, and was completely overwhelmed from start to finish. Dust was completely Dust, Lin was so very Lin it even surprised me, Loli Succubus is the same lovable Loli Succubus, Taylor is the same hard-headed Taylor, and Keith is the same flippant Keith, forgive my inadequate vocabulary. I was so nervous that I don't remember much of anything I said, but it was a very precious experience. This is the drama CD he's referring to here, if any of you are interested. I'm extremely thankful to Akatsuki Natsume-sensei for allowing me a free hand to write what I wish in every volume. This came into my mind when I was writing, but Elroad seems really likely to collapse now that Ragcraft is gone. Do your best, Prince Levi. Mishima Kuron-sensei, the illustration of Yun in Volume 14 of KonoSuba is the best. Kazuma and the main cast are amazing, of course, but seeing pictures of Yun who appears quite a bit in this spin-off makes me happy. I enjoy looking forward to seeing Yuki Hager-sensei's erotic and cute illustrations every time. Large breasts are nice, but I think that modest chests like the ones Loli Succubus has are pretty amazing too. One of us cough. Being able to browse through Mishima Kuron-sensei's new book and being able to see the illustrations that Yuki Hager's draws makes me feel really happy. Everyone in the Sneaker Bunko editorial department, Mr. M who helped me out a lot to this time, and the various people who helped in getting this book to the shelves, and everyone who helped blow life into the characters in the drama CD. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thanks to everyone who picked up this book. Hirokuma.